why can't I get it right? Just can't let it go. I open up, she let me down, I won't feel that no more. I got memories, this is crazy. She ain't nothing like the girl like you used to know. I don't mean to take it out on you, baby, but I can't help it, cause my heart is in the same old condition that baby left it. And I apologize. Look me in my eyes and promise you won't do me the same. Yeah. Girl, I really wanna work this out, cause I'm tired of fighting. And I really hope you still want me the way I want you. Baby, I said I really wanna work this out. Damn girl, I'm trying. There's no excuse. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I don't wanna be stuck off in this cold, cold world. Don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. Don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. Don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. I don't wanna be stuck up in this cold, cold world. I don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. Don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. Don't wanna mess this up, better keep your eye on me, girl. Girl, I really wanna work this out, cause I'm tired of fighting. And I really hope you still want me the way I want you. I said I really wanna work this out, damn girl, I'm trying. It's no excuse, no excuse. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. This icebox where my heart used to be. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. This icebox where my heart used to be. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. Girl, I really wanna work this out, cause I'm tired of fighting. Marianne, bitch.
Next selection.
You've been waiting so long, I'm here to answer your call. I know that I shouldn't have had you waiting at all. I've been so busy, but I've been thinking about what I wanna do with you. I know them other guys, they've been talking about the way I do what I do. They heard I was good, they wanna see if it's true. They know you're the one I wanna give it to. I can see you want me too. Now it's me and you. Now I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it. Now I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. I was waiting for you to tell me you were ready. I know what to do if only you would let me. As long as you're cool with it, I'll treat you right. Here is where you wanna be. I know them other guys, they've been talking about the way I do what I do. They heard I was good, they wanna see if it's true. They know you're the one I wanna give it to. I can see you want me too. And now it's me and you. Now, baby, I've been waiting. Me, you. Think I wanna make that move. I'm thinking about making that move.
corner of my eyes. Thank you, darling.
Baby, let me explain to you. I'm saying.
What you saying?
It's not even like that.
It wasn't like that, but I saw you.
Baby, I don't love her.
You don't love me? You know what? I don't even want to talk to you.
She don't mean nothing to me.
I don't want to see your face.
She was just telling me.
I just want to see you walking through that
baby,
door. There ain't nothing else to say.
Why we gotta do it like this? Baby, damn.
Coming home late, it seems you barely beat the sun.
Thank you.
Tapping my shoulder, thinking you gon' get you some. Smelling like some fragrance that I don't even wear. So if you want some loving, I suggest you go back there
where you came from.
Day to day with you is always something else. Working my nerve, God knows that.
I just took those off. I was editing those when you two said those. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, CG, because I thought they were taking the piss. So I was taking them off. Thank you for those beautiful gifts. I wish I could jump in one of those cars and get the fuck out of here.
All of your sweet talk, baby this, baby that.
But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now.
I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Play the fool before. I was your fool. I believed in you. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now.
I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. What were you thinking? Bringing her into our home. In our bed, you must have fell and bumped your head. Messing up my sheets and violating me. Got me about to call my peace and take it to the streets. Nothing you can do, and there's nothing you can say that could persuade me to stay with you another day. You have crossed the line to the point of no return. What you do from here on out, I am no longer concerned. See, I heard it all before. Let me explain, baby. It's not what you think. That's what you said to me. But your lies ain't
Thank you,
working
Jordan.
now. Look who's hurting now. See, I had to shut you down. Had to shut you down. Played the fool before. You had a good game, I must admit. I was it, but now it's over. But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now. See, I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Ooh, I used to hang on to your every word. But the more you lied to me, the more I heard. The things you used to say would sound so sweet. I was naive, quick to believe. Heard it all before. I was at work. It wasn't my car you saw, baby. I swear it wasn't me. Your lies ain't working now. Who's hurting now? Who's hurting now? I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Play the fool before. You and my boo. I trusted you for way too long, way too long. But your lies ain't working now. Who's hurting now? See, I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. You know you messed up. You gotta know you messed up. You gotta go now. Say what you want. Say what you want. But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now. See, I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Play the fool. I done changed the locks on the door. Yes, I did. And you ain't welcome no more. But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now. See, I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. See, I heard it all before.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for being patient. Just had to post a quick video.
have got a lot of FYP clips to get through today, but I would really like to continue the conversations around the trans debates and the trans discussions that have happened. If you guys are happy to have that conversation with me today. Jemmy and Jaspy says, yes, please. We thought you'd lost the plot talking to yourself. I just recorded a video to put on my profile to push it out, push this live out to the algorithm. So I know I look like a weirdo for a moment there. But yes, that's what I was doing. So, if you wouldn't mind having a quick look on my profile and just putting some love on it, that will help push it out as well. And I'll get the clips up. So if you could all just click on top left on my name, go to the profile and just put some love on that video I've just posted, that'd be amazing. Because I'm sure we've all got thoughts on what happened last night. There were several lives that were held, and I wanna continue the conversations because I think it is important. And I got some opinions because I'm me. Ooh. We got treasure boxes, we got goodie bags. Get your coins, drop a heart me. Let's go, everybody. We need 20,000. Please tap up the screen. Thank you, Daddy Jojo. Thank you, Daddy Jojo. Tap up the screen, everyone. Let's get to 20k and we're going to get into it. Everyone double tap and we'll be there in no time. We are so close. Let's go, everyone. Over to the left.
Coming out of my shirt and then my skirt came down. Oops, there goes my shirt over my head. Oh my, oops, there goes my skirt dropping to my feet.
We'll start with a Gossip Girl clip once we get to 20,000. Let's go. Tap the screen. Thank you, everyone who has sent a gift today. Sorry, I haven't said thank you to you all individually. I appreciate every single gift. Thank you, everyone. Pat says, did you have a good weekend? No, it was awful. So let's hope this week is better. We have not had a good weekend in this household. Thank you so much, Louise. Thanks, Nix. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate the love. Everyone is welcome in here. I'm more than happy to open boxes as well if people want to have their say, as long as people can keep it respectful, come from a place of kindness. All opinions are welcome, but we don't tolerate dickheads in here. No, Judith, and I don't care. I don't care if people call out my opinions. They're entitled to, just like I'm entitled to. If you just got coins out of the goodie bag, please could you send to heart me or a team bracelet. Thank you, everyone. Right, we are there on the numbers. Thank you for tapping up the screen, everybody. I appreciate that. Right, that's done. Where's the music? Let's stop this music. Oh, we'll stop it on some praise you, praise you. So, last night, there was a live held on Evil Queen's platform, with Miss Natasha, House of Deville, hosting the most of the conversation. I'm going to do a quick poll because I'd be really interested to see how many of you actually caught the live last night. Right, quick poll is incoming. It's very slow. It's very slow. Smiley face if you saw Evil Queen's live last night. Sad face if you missed it, please. If everyone could just tap on the poll, it really helps with getting us onto the popular board. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. That'd be really helpful, just so I can get a sense of who in the room saw it and who didn't. And again, I welcome your opinions today. Thank you so much for helping with the 2025 target that I've set everyone. Thank you, Shell. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Jordan, everyone. And thank you for your heart me's as well, guys. I'll keep dropping some goodie bags for you. So again, the poll is, if you saw Evil Queen's sort of trans discussion or trans debate last night, smiley face for yes, sad face if you did not see it. Just so I can get a feel for the room. Okay, so it's in favour of the majority, but also quite a lot of you didn't see it. So we have got some clips from last night. There was a couple of lives last night. There was the Evil Queen live, and then there was a Miss Faye live as well. And I'm sure there were some other discussions as well. I did watch all of Evil Queens last night. So I got a good sense of what happened, and I have some thoughts on it. And again, I welcome you guys to share your thoughts on it as well. But please be respectful in the chat, and please use preferred pronouns for people. I think that's the least that we can do, to be respectful. And anyone not doing so, mods, you have full permission to mute them for the entire live, because I don't support hate in any capacity towards people. So thank you very much for that. I think I'd like to start by saying I think the conversations around the trans community is very important, and just like any marginalized group, I think it's very, very important that these conversations happen. And I'm really overjoyed that there are more and more of these conversations happening, and they are important in terms of awareness and education. Um, I'm not entirely sure if Evil Queen was the right vessel to do that live yesterday. And we can get into that, into some more details. Now, I did see the whole live, and I'm aware that I'm playing to you some clips. Just so these are just little snippets of the whole live, and so I'm prefacing that you're seeing clips. Okay, this is not the full picture, and again, this is why I'm going to open up the boxes for people to come and share their voice. As well on the whole picture of it, and I will give my opinion as well on what I think. And there were a couple of takeaways for me that Nanny Jo says, I was shocked how many trans are on here. I didn't know, and it was an eye opener. Yeah, I actually love that. I think if there's anything I could take away from Evil Queen's live, it was the exposure of more trans people that I wasn't yet following. So I was happy to see more trans people, male and female, that were given a platform and had that exposure. I think that was good. And hopefully, Rafiki says, it was a disaster. Tell me why you think it was a disaster in the chat. Again, please be respectful. Okay, these are some of my, before I play this clip, this is just one clip where Elphaba is brought up as a topic, and they all give their opinions on Elphaba. One of my takeaways, or a couple of my takeaways from the discussion that happened last night was I felt that there was either a little bit of confusion or a bit of hypocrisy. I'm not entirely sure which yet. Maybe when I speak it out, it will come out. So on the one hand, we had trans people saying that transphobia itself is often disregarded and isn't talked about enough, and I agree with that. But on the other hand, we also had some trans people saying that the trans community shouldn't be transphobically abusing one another because it makes all of them look bad. There were comments as well that non-trans people shouldn't be calling out transphobia. And I guess my confusion that arose for me was, and I'm not saying it's the same, but I have this similarity of my white friends who, when I'm not in the room, if they see racism or hear racism, they call it out as an ally because that's the right thing to do and they don't agree with it. So I'm trying to understand, if I see transphobia, am I not supposed to call it out because I'm not trans? Or are we just saying this is specifically about Elphaba? Because I consider myself to be an ally to all communities, whether it's the trans community, the GAY community, and I will call out shit that I see in my real life or on TikTok. But what I keep hearing, and I heard it again last night from some trans people, is that non-trans people can't tell a trans person what is transphobic. And there seemed to be this real mishmash of some of the trans people saying that no trans person should be calling out another trans person's journey while sitting in the box of someone who does exactly that, as a trans person calls out other trans people, right? So I felt like there was some mixed messages that were coming across. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this too. So I'm going to get into this first clip, and I've got a couple of clips. I have some clips of Miss Faye as well. Miss Faye also did a live after this. Well, actually, she was sort of cam-toing this and commenting on it as it goes along. Ducky says, my son is 17 and trans, and transphobia is awful. 100% is awful, and 100% it should be called out. Um, and I think these conversations are super important to be had. I'm just a little bit confused about the messaging that's being put out based on the live that I watched in entirety yesterday. Um, Joe says it shouldn't be happening in 2025. Neither should racism, neither should homophobia. None of it should be happening. But again, all of these conversations are super important to be had. I'm saying from my perspective, I found the conversation a little bit mixed up, if I'm being honest. I'm going to play this first one. This is Miss Natasha, or House of Deville, or the crazy window lady. She sort of was leading this conversation. Um, Thank you, High Priestess. Let's have a little listen, shall we? Let's get into the first clip. And write your comments as well in the chat.
For God's sake. She thinks she's going to fly off to Oz in this magical fictional story. Well, go and fly, lady. Go. Fly away, darling. Just stop telling people, like, you admitted to about the Tourette's and everything else. Just fess up and just say, I made a mistake. I'm not really that. Because it's just the more you lie and the more you perpetuate it. And I want to make one thing very clear. When I confronted her that day, it was all because of I called her out for I believe that she was ripping people off for money for her transition, and there's no intention of doing it. So being fraudulent and being a scammer. Called her out on Instagram, tra-la-la, she said she's going to do X, Y, Z to me. I saw her that day. I confronted, you all know the rest is history. Because I wanted you to say, listen, careful what you say on the internet, tra-la-la-la-la. And that's my view on her, because I don't believe she is. And people call me transphobic. Yes. For me to be transphobic, you have to be transgender.
Yeah. So many people have the same. I wanted to hold your coat, Natasha.
So this is House of Deville speaking. That's one of her accounts. Her other accounts is Crazy Window Lady, and she's been sort of brought in to lead this conversation as an elder in the community. Ah, thank you, Claire Bear, for the star map. Thank you very much. So she's been sort of asked to lead this conversation large on Evil Queen's platform, largely because Evil Queen recognises that she's done and said so much that, people are not really going to take her seriously. 1 second, my alarm's going off. Alexa, stop. Tablet timer stopped on Remi's kitchen round. I need to go and get some more Persian rugs. Give me 2 seconds and we will continue this. Actually, I'll leave this playing and you guys, I'll go and grab some Persian rugs.
What, love?
I wanted to hold your coat.
Yeah, well, that was. I was never going to hit her. Just know that, people. I was never going to go that place. So that's
Yeah,
my
but the
view on
points you
Elphaba. What
brought
about you,
up,
Jackie?
the points you've just brought up about your beliefs on her are like not everyone's belief. She's got followers that, but
Yeah.
but I hear that more than anything what you just said, and there's got to be a level of truth to it.
Our followers are children. Are we not getting that? And then people start. Sorry, I'm getting quite angry. People start calling us pedalos and shit.
Yeah.
Because people like this are claiming they're our brothers and sisters, and they're messing around online with fucking kids. And then who gets the fall of it? We do. Queenie gets it, Jackie gets it, Kai gets it, Bailey gets it, Dimitri gets it, Abby gets it. Every trans man and woman in this bloody live right now gets it because of people like her. She's not the only one that does it.
I think genuinely, I think people like her, and this is where I do say the mental health services are failing, and this is not me defending her in any way, shape or form before anybody starts jumping on that high horse. Bearing in mind, because of what I do for work, which I don't say on here because, you know, I've seen situations like this where I'm saying this, adult social services need to be involved. She needs to be section 136 by the police and put somewhere to have her mental health looked at, because the way I see it is, she's her age, but she's massively under fucking developed. When I say this, I know you guys might not get it like that, but when I say this, I don't think right now she has any means. She wouldn't even pass the gender dysphoria diagnosis on mental health capabilities. She wouldn't. She wouldn't even be able to complete a transition hormonally, surgically wise, because she's not in the mental capacity to be able to. Even if she doesn't want to. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and judge somebody if they don't want to. Whatever somebody chooses to do with their life, I'm not their keeper, and I'm also not somebody on here that's going to sit here and judge somebody for what they want to do. I don't agree with what she's done with the money, spending it on shit that she shouldn't have spent it on. At the end of the day, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to be a person and sits here and says that somebody's not transgender. I'm not a gender psychologist, and I also know...
And I think Dimitri's making some good points here. And I know, I mean, I don't know, but from what I was seeing in the chat, people are saying that Dimitri is problematic and whatever. But I think his point that he's making here about, you know, him choosing not to comment on another transgender person's journey, I think is correct. And I know he got kicked out of the box because essentially he wasn't really saying what Evil Queen wanted him to say. Yeah, exactly that. Character and behaviour are separate issues, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I hear that, Miss Baguette. I do hear that. I'm just addressing the point that he's making. I think I agree with that.
And dysphoria affects everybody differently, and I'm pretty sure...
And I also think... and to be fair to House of Deville, she does say that Elphaba isn't the only one who is problematic in this area, and I'm glad that she said that. I do feel like, I don't know, I don't think Elphaba should have really been brought up as a topic personally, because then it did start to feel a bit like a hate live towards Elphaba, and I think there could have been different topics to be used to educate and bring awareness versus making it feel like a sort of a gang up on Elphaba. That's just my 2 cents.
All of us in this box have
Hello,
been
House of
told we're
Deville.
not really trans at one point. Do you know what I mean? We've had somebody tell us we're not trans, so why are we doing that to everybody else? And this is exactly what I mean, because people see you saying that about Elphaba, regardless of what we all fucking think about her, nobody deserves transphobia, regardless if we think they're trans or not. Do you know what I mean? If somebody wants to say they're trans, then just fucking respect it.
And I think that's the thing for me. My position is, obviously I'm not a trans person, but my position is that if somebody asks me to refer to them in a certain way, I feel like it's the least I can do. Like, it's literally no skin off my nose to use the preferred pronouns. So I don't have a problem with doing that. I had a friend who changed his name because his old name represented some horrible things that happened in his life, and he wanted to be known as an alternative name. And so I just used an alternative name for him, right? I think it's just about respect. Yeah, mods, if you could just make sure you check the mod chat as well. So for me, um, I don't understand why that's so difficult. And I think Dimitri is making a good point here, about how it looks. Um, Thank you, House of Deville, darling. Um, I think it does look problematic when you have trans people dragging other trans people. Um, and I also think it's problematic when you have trans allies trying to be helpful being dragged because you can't tell a trans person what to like. It's very confusing to me.
You know what I
It
mean?
has a
Simple as that.
detrimental effect on us, Dimitri.
It does have a detrimental effect. I agree with what she does. But how
Let's not argue, guys.
Can I just intervene for 2 seconds? I think Dimitri doesn't really understand because he's not a trans woman, so I think that.
See, and that comment I find problematic. I find you're having a debate on trans issues and you've got the trans community in the box. And then you have one trans person saying to another trans person, well, your opinion doesn't count because you're not a trans woman. Is that just a me thing? Or are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, I think that's a very problematic. So Dimitri has said something that isn't in alignment with what Evil Queen wants the messaging to be. So she almost diminishes him by saying, well, actually, let's hear from somebody else because you're not a trans woman. So now what does this person's trans views and opinions not matter? I'm just asking the questions because I'm confused by it.
That's for the trans women maybe to pick up, because I'd like to hear from Jackie about Alphabet.
Well, first of all, there's been so many problems that this person has caused with regards to fake diagnostics, with regards to minors, right? There's so many games. This person is a classic narcissist. It's lie after lie after lie after lie. And to say that this person needs help, I don't think this person needs help. This person needs prison because they are a classic narcissist, potentially a psychopath.
Wow.
Right? And there's no way on this planet that this...
Even House of Deville reacted to that. Like, it again, like, Jackie is saying that Elphaba should be put in prison.
Person, and I'm saying this person because I can't bear to call this person a she, right? There's no way that this person is trans because...
Okay, again, I'm just speaking what I'm hearing. Do we not see how problematic this is, right? That we have a trans person saying that another trans person isn't trans, and that how problematic this is, that when non-trans people see trans people picking and choosing and saying who is and who isn't, how that in itself can be inciting hate and can also encourage other people to attack trans people. Because if I think you don't look feminine enough, then I can say what I want, because you have the likes of Evil Queen and whoever else sitting on this panel who are trans attacking their own. It's almost giving like the green flag to people to say, go ahead, and if you think they're not trans, then you can say nasty things about them. Yeah, and I think a lot of people do, Ducky, dislike Elphaba, but I'm trying to. I just think it's really problematic when you have the trans, not because it's not all the trans community, and whether or not we think Elphaba is disgusting and is problematic, which she probably is. When you see other trans people doing it to each other, this isn't now about education. It's like you're giving the the green flag for people to do it willy-nilly on the streets wherever they feel like, because they're seeing other people in that community doing it to them. I don't know if that was eloquent enough, but I think I made sense in my own head. Let me drop me another goodie bag.
For me, I can't see the public in any way. I can't walk out my door in any way without doing my hair, without doing my face, without looking my best, right? This person goes on cam in front of 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people, looking like, well, Neil.
The bitch thinks she's a witch, for God's
All right, so that was just one of the clips where they were talking about Elphaba. Victoria says, I was educated. I'm really pleased you were educated. In my honest opinion, I don't feel like, just my opinion, I don't feel like there was much education. When I watched Miss Faye's live, I felt like there was quite a lot of education and I learned some new things. Um, uh, I didn't feel like this was an educational live, and I'll be honest with you, I really like House of Deville, and I've gone in her live quite a few times and had chats with her and whatnot, and I kind of feel funny about House of Deville's involvement in this, and I will tell you why, because one, okay, I get that we need a bigger platform to amplify voices. So Eva Queen has the biggest platform, and that will 100% amplify voices. I get that. What my thoughts and feelings with Miss Natasha is with this is that on the one hand, she said some really powerful and poignant things, but sat in a scenario that was contradictory to the things that she was saying. So, for example, she said things like, it looks really bad when us trans people are calling each other out while sat in Evil Queen's box, who's done exactly that thing, right? When she said about, there was another point, it's just jumped right out of my head. It'll probably come back to me in a minute. Where she said something like, talking about we shouldn't criticize each other's journeys and we should only focus on our own journey. But again, there are people sitting in the box who are doing this literally as this conversation is going on, and it's not being called out. And it felt, and the I suppose the biggest thing with the House of Deville for me was that on the one hand she was saying, in my opinion, the right things, but was also excusing Evil Queen. So she said a couple of times, that was the other thing that's just jumped back in my head. She said something like, we can't deal with hate crime towards us by using another hate crime, right? In reference to Evil Queen using racism as a response to transphobic comments made to her. But then she also said something like, after saying that, then says, we understand why Evil Queen did what she did. And I'm like, how does that make sense? So on the one hand, you say, if you're being transphobically abused, right, what you should do is go and report it to the police, which is exactly what I said the other week. And we shouldn't be retaliating with another hate crime like racism. But then also says, but we understand why Evil Queen did what she did. Like, we get that point. And I'm like, how do we get that point? If the point is, like, we don't fight hate with hate. So, this is my confusion here. It was confusing that Elphaba was singled out and used as an example rather than go for a 20-year-old. Yeah, eye for an eye. Yeah, no, I know it's her opinion, Nataflee. I'm saying I find it confusing to say one thing and then say the opposite. So I understand it's her opinion. I fully understand that. I just find it confusing. to say, let's not fight hate with hate, but then also say, but I understand why Evil Queen did it. Like, I'm just trying to process. I'm just trying to process because it felt a little bit contradictory to me, or hypocritical even. Let's get another clip up of from last night.
We feel it.
So Miss Natasha, aka House of Deville, kicks off the discussion with some members of the trans community.
As I'm sure, just like in the racist side, that, you know, people in the black community feel it as well. When they hear somebody in their community getting racially abused, they're going to feel that. So when I see it on the app, I feel it. But for me, it's a little bit different because I'm a little bit like Queenie, you see, because I don't feel it like that. Because when it gets said online, it's just a stranger on the internet typing words to me. I've had it in real life for 40 years, so I know it firsthand. So I feel it a bit different. But
I'm just going to pause it there because if you remember when the Zach the Brat incident happened and I got quite upset and lots of people were, you know, sharing the clip, and I got upset because I felt like trust had been broken and, you know, he said something racist and obviously it was hurtful to me. I gave an example of when I talked about racism and how I've had it for so long in my life. I'm 47 years of age. I've had a lot of racism thrown at me throughout my life, and how I know it's wrong to say this, but for me, you know, if someone calls me a black this or a black that or the N word in the street, it literally just bounces off of me because it's happened to me so many times, right? So I was saying it wasn't so much the word that he said that like wounded me. It was the belief that this person was an ally, right? And I remember Evil Queen playing my clip and saying, I feel exactly the same about transphobia. That because I've had it so much that when somebody throws it at me, it just bounces off me like water off a duck's back, right? And I'm bringing this up because Miss Natasha has just said a very similar thing in that you get to a point where you've had so much hate thrown against you that it's almost like you stop feeling it, which is a terrible thing to even say. Like you don't, it doesn't wound like the first time, if that makes sense, right? But it doesn't mean you don't care about it and it doesn't matter to you. And I think my real issue with Evil Queen doing this is that one, she has said that it doesn't matter to her, it doesn't care. Two, we've repeatedly heard her say that the only person she cares about is herself. She doesn't care about the other trans community, yada, yada, yada. Like, just go look back through The Observer and all of the clips and stuff that Evil Queen has said about the trans community, that essentially she only really gives a fuck about herself. And so I'm finding all of this very disingenuous. I'm finding this whole, I'm going to be the Rosa Parks of the trans community. I'm finding it very disingenuous based on what she said in the past. And I don't believe that she cares about the next generation of trans children. I don't. I see this as a piece of content for her, a strategy for her to get attention back on herself. And the way that she conducted that live last night took the absolute fucking piss. Because if you are going to say you are here to be an activist and you care about trans rights, why were you kicking people out of the boxes when their opinions were not the same as yours? Why were you playing music and sound effects over people whilst they're talking apparently on a very serious matter that you care so much about? You mocked the fuck out of this situation yesterday. And you kind of made House of Deville look like a dickhead by bringing her into this situation and pretending that you cared about this, because I don't believe you do. I don't. of course, it would have been inappropriate for me to dance as I was making that point about sound effects. So, welcome to the coven, but I'm not going to dance right now because I'd be a massive fucking hypocrite. But for me, it felt like Eva Queen wasn't actually being serious about that debate. It's all right, Dougie. Can we choose timings, please, everybody? Um, I was like, oh fuck, I can't dance now. As I'm calling out Evil Queen for the exact same shit. But no, but obviously I'm not. I wasn't hosting an awareness live and trying to bring about change and be the Rosa Parks of trans. But my point being is, it did feel very disrespectful to keep kicking people out the box because they were droning on, or they weren't in agreement with you, or shutting people down, or playing sound effects over them, like. Um, if you're going to give your platform to raise awareness because you care about it, well then let's do that properly and not take the piss and mock it. Because I don't think that came across very well. Anyway, I've yabbered on. Let me play some more of this clip.
But I'm sure these men and women in the box here all feel it differently as well. But at the end of the day, we all feel it, don't we?
Absolutely.
And I just want to say another thing as well, and then we'll all start chatting about it, is that I get up at 6 in the morning, 5:30, have my little first coffee before the gym, and I always have a little scroll. And I always end up, the 24 hours a day on TikTok, and I can assure you, 24 hours a day, there is a live being held about us. And they're not very nice lives, and they're normally held by non-trans people, which is really ironic. And the one I hear the most is, oh, in 100 years when I dig you up somewhere, you're going to know that you're a man. Girl, do you think they give a shit when in 100 years from now,
To be fair, I have heard a lot of dickheads say that.
3025, when somebody outside the fucking pyramids of Giza dig me up and say, oh, Habibi, it's a man. As if I give a fuck about that shit. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous what they do. These are a bunch of busy little beavers and haters that go and build a fucking dam and save a village somewhere. Instead of coming on the internet and fucking... People don't realise it's a hate crime. So maybe if people started getting lifted for doing it, and people like me and my brothers and sisters just started...
Yeah, and we're going to get onto that, Letty. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, there wasn't much representation in terms of different cultures from the trans community that was being shown. But, in the last clip, I sort of showed that people were being shut down anyway. So whether it was about the diversity, or, that Dimitri guy was shut down because he had an opinion, and then he was shut down because he wasn't a trans woman, right? And so, like, I'm not sure if it would have made any difference, but I will play some of Miss Faye's live as well, just to show sort of the other side as well. And again, I'll reiterate, I think it is important that we have these conversations, and we do bring attention to transphobia and outing it. Of course we do. I think that's super important. I have some concerns about how this was handled yesterday, and I'm not sure if this particular live did as much good as I think it intended to do.
Reporting it to the police.
I know it's not about culture. I'm saying that there are a lot of Black, Asian, other communities, and I'm just saying that in terms of looking at this, there was a lack of diversity from all groups as well. That's all.
And people were getting knocks on their door. Would that make it any different for them? Would they feel it then? So as I said, for me on the internet, it's just strangers for me. It's sort of water for ducks back. But then, there's a really high rate in the trans world of unaliving ourselves. And that's because of transphobia mostly. There's also a very high rate of SH, almost down to transphobia as well. There's a lot of young and old, whatever age, all walks of life trans people that will never press that like button on TikTok or share any funny videos or their story of their journey because of the transphobia, because they're scared. So what they end up doing is staying in a dark room on their own, and just, all sorts of things happen because they're too scared of what's being said. And another thing, I see some creators in the trans community that allow it in their comments. So we need to stop doing that for views and dollar and subscriptions and that. Stop it. Do you know what I mean? We need to stop.
I was just going to say, where is there a tolerance level though? Because that's quite a. Do you know the idea that like you just said? I understand that some people tolerate and some people don't. Obviously, you like myself are very much. If anybody comes in with anything negative, because we're trying to do a positive live, then they just get instantly removed. Whereas, just as an example, EQ, who has so many people coming through that even a moderator struggle to maintain that. It's not so much that they're letting it ride, it's just that they're struggling to maintain. So where is the tolerance? Like, because obviously they'll be advised, stick to specific comments as opposed to somebody just coming in and throwing a random nonchalant comment in. How do you, where's the differentiation between that?
You see, for me, there's also the sneaky comments that people don't even realise there's underlying comments. And in my life, as you know, my mods get that. I get, because I've heard it all before. For 40 years, I've heard all these little where, oh, it's not, I wasn't being transphobic. Yeah, you were. You just weren't being blatant about it. But the thing where the line is, that's why.
Same for racism. We see that a lot on this app too. When people are, I wasn't being racist. Well,
EQ let us do this, and I wanted to get you guys up to get your opinion, because for me, I am at that. I'm so desensitized to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm an old lady. I'm nearly 60. Not old, but do you know what I mean? And in 20 years, I won't be here probably. Who knows? But then it's still going to carry on. It's just.
The thing to do is to entertain it, because I've realised, like for me, I don't get that much of it online anymore, because when people say it, I either come back and say something that's so satire about it, or we'll use the T-slur openly and go, you're going to call me one, I'll call myself one, what are you going to do about it? Do you know what I mean? And I come at it with that attitude, but I feel like the more that you feed into something, the more that people will do it, and because they're getting a reaction out of you, whether it be a positive reaction or a negative reaction, they will keep going at you and going at you and going at you until, as horrible as it sounds.
Maisie says, I will never understand why all of this is still a thing in this app. Maisie, it's not just this app, it's on the planet that it's happening. And it's not just transphobia, it's racism, it's homophobia, it's ableism. Unfortunately, this is the world that we live in, where people can't just live how they want to live without being surrounded by dickheads and hateful people. So it's important that we have these conversations to highlight people's struggles. And what happened yesterday was the trans community were highlighting transphobia on this app and how bad it is. And a lot of the black community does the same. We hold lives and talk about things that we see and feel on the app, as do other communities. So that's why. And yes, Team DeVille. Don't think this is a hate live on Team DeVille. I can like someone and still call them out. Okay, I do it all the time. This is no hate towards anyone. We're just having a discussion around what happened yesterday, and I very much like Miss Natasha, and I go in her live and I hang out with her. But also, I can also say I don't really understand all of the things that she said or did yesterday.
They're going to move on to the next person,
and equally, I'm sure people will have their say and say they don't agree with things that I'm saying right now or in this live. So Remi calls us out all the time. So it's just an opinion, right? And again, I said this at the beginning, and I'll say it for those who didn't hear it. These discussions are super fucking important. We do need to raise awareness on yes, we do it respectfully, Mark. We do need to raise awareness on transphobia, and it does need to be treated the same as racism and homophobia and ableism. Like all of it, it all needs to be highlighted and spoken about. And what Evil Queen essentially is doing here is amplifying voices, and we see that happen a lot with the black community. You'll get, a large, a white creator that's got a large audience who will put black people or people of color on their platform and amplify the voices, and this is what is happening. It's just that I don't I don't know, again, personal opinion, if this landed, this live landed in the way that I think people wanted it to land. I certainly believe that a lot of these trans creators, a lot of people hadn't heard of them, so they've now got new trans personalities on this app that they can now follow. But in terms of it being an awareness live and an educational live, I don't necessarily know if we can call it that based on the fact that there was quite a lot of hypocrisy happening in this live. Um, and I did see quite a bit of Miss Faye's last night, and I did find that educational. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, the agenda wasn't clear. Well, no, actually, I'm going to disagree with that, Cockapoo. I'm going to say the agenda was clear. Okay, and again, this is a Remi opinion, and you might agree with me. The agenda for me was the Evil Queen wanted to have a panel of people that agreed with her. That was the agenda. The agenda for me was Evil Queen in the last 6 months has said a lot of racist shit, slurs, as examples. And I believe Evil Queen is using this trans right movement as a way to deflect, to deflect, sorry, to deflect from bad behavior. I think that was the agenda. The agenda was, let me get a load of people from my community in my box who I've already said I don't actually give a fuck about. Let me get them in the box to agree with me that I was right in my behaviour. That's what I think. Again, this is a Remi opinion, and you can shoot me down and you can say I'm wrong. That's my opinion of what I think the agenda was. And anyone who was in that box who didn't agree with that agenda was kicked out the box, or they weren't allowed to be risen into the box, or they were blocked from getting in the box. So that for me is what the agenda was, but I think the agenda should have been about trans rights and about, how do we eradicate transphobia? What can we do? That's what I think it should have been. And again, just my opinion. All right? Just my opinion, guys.
It's the same with anything.
But Dimitri, not everybody's as strong as that, you see, in our world, do you know what I mean? And a lot of people just, so anybody else up here that it really affects you?
If the other side of it is, sorry, just to jump in, not only does it potentially affect us.
And I also think, okay, I want to say, but I don't know if this is accurate. I want to say I think House of Deville was a little bit hoodwinked, but I also think she's a little bit complicit too. As in, I think, because she said so many things that I agreed with, but they were in contradiction with behaviours that Evil Queen had done. So I'm really struggling with processing this, in that there were a lot of things that House of Deville said that I 100% agree with, but the things she was saying were the things that Evil Queen has done. But you're sitting in Evil Queen's box saying, we're riding out for her, but you're saying the things that contradicted her behaviour. So that's where I'm at. And this isn't no hate towards House of Deville, because I really like her. I really do like her. And I go in her live and whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if she's been hoodwinked or whether or not she's used this as an opportunity to get a little bit of clout, which not in a bad way, but in terms of raising her profile, getting more people into her room, which again, everyone on the app does it, so that I'm not being shady with that comment. I don't know whether it's to do that or whether or not she's coming from a point of view. I really do want to get this message out there. I really do want to talk about this, and I am aware I'm going to have to use this person's platform who has been problematic in our community to get that message across, and I'm just not sure what it is. So again, that's why I just try to over explain. When I use the word clout, I don't mean it in a derogatory way. Just people on this app do that, but I don't mean like she's begging, like she's fucking legend in her own right. Of course, you don't need clout in that sense. It's just more like, and people do it. People do jump in other people's boxes because they want to raise their profile and they want to be seen by more people. But again, I'm not digging her out. I'm trying to. This is me like verbally trying to process what's happening, because on the one hand there were so many things that Miss Natasha said that I agree with, but it's in conflict with Evil Queen's behaviour. So that's where I'm struggling with this a little bit. I really don't know if I'm articulating myself very well today, but I'm trying.
Over a long period of time, even the strongest people are constantly, day in, day out, hearing that kind of abuse, eventually it does have some sort of effect. And secondly, the people that are in your lives that come in on a regular basis, that do actually care about you and do want to be there and take part and feel love, they also feel it as well. So there's an element of I know we're specifically here for this, but it is felt by few, by a fair few as well as ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what EQ did. You know, the way she reacted. Do you understand why she did that?
Yeah.
You get why she actually threw herself in front of a truck.
100%. Any one of us would have reacted. Well, I'd like to think we would. I'm not sure.
See, this is where I get confused, because, you know, she's saying, this is the bit. This is why I'm confused. Because equally, you know, another part of the conversation is her saying, we don't fight hate with hate. And now we're sitting here saying, but do you understand why Evil Queen did that? Do you understand why Evil Queen was racist? Now, justifying the unjustifiable, that's my issue here. Now, Evil Queen is very good at rewriting history, and I've said this a million times. And Evil Queen, she does self-evaluate. She does know when she's gone too far. She's even said sorry sometimes, right? And so what Evil Queen has done is she said some fucked up shit that she didn't need to say. But the rewritten version of history is, I only did that to prove a point about trans, right? No, you did that because you hold racist views. Let's keep it 100. You hold racist views. Because nobody spills out racism at a rate like you do on this app without holding inherent, deep-rooted racist views, okay? And so what she's done is she's rewritten history and convinced people I only was racist because I was transphobically abused. Now, Evil Queen tells us how smart she is all the time. So if you are smart, if you're being transphobically abused publicly, where it's screen recorded, the smart move would be to go and report it to the police and prosecute and charge and turn up in court and watch them get punished. That would be the smart move. The smart move is not being deeply racist, deeply offensive with another hate crime. That's not a smart move, in my opinion. So my issue here with thanks, Ruth. My opinion, my issue here is that we have Miss Natasha on the one hand saying we can't fight hate with hate, but then is sitting here saying, but do you understand why Evil Queen did it? It's because people are buying into a rewritten truth. That's why I'm struggling with this.
Whether we would have had the strength to, but yeah.
Personally, I would never react like that, but that's just me. But what it...
Personally, she would never react like that. So why are we sitting in this box endorsing this behavior? This is why I'm confused by this, right? She's saying we don't fight hate with hate. I would never react like that. But do you understand why she did it? This is why I'm confused. What are we saying here? What are we saying here?
It is, I see the point of why she did it, is because when I see a lot of, other stuff going on inside these, drama pages, FYP, they all, I don't get involved in inside TikTok, but I've seen a lot in the past week. And when it comes to transphobia, I've noticed it's very glossed over. It's very food. Unless we've done something wrong.
It's classed as a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not a laugh though, is it? Because when it's done in another way.
And I'll give her that. I think she's right. I think transphobic comments are often just overlooked. It's at that point where it is throwaway, and I would agree with that. I've seen that myself. I've seen I've seen racism topics being tackled more so than transphobic topics, which isn't right. Which isn't right, and I can say that honestly. Um, yeah, exactly. If you fight bigotry, bigotry is just dumb. What is the point? Exactly. An eye for an eye makes the whole fucking world blind. And then what? And then what? So she's right. I think she's right about this. I think on this app, it's not taken seriously. And the reason I said what I said about Eva Queen, like being smart and taking this to the police, because later on in the discussion, somebody raises a point. I can't remember the lady's name. Forgive me, I've got shit memory, but she makes a point about she doesn't bother reporting transphobic crimes that happen against her because the police never do anything about it. And Eva Queen makes a point that where she lives, her police department, I think it's Merseyside, she said, I might have got that wrong. She says her police department do take transphobia very seriously, and that she's even got somebody prosecuted. So for me, that makes it worse. Yeah, it might have been Portia. Thank you. That makes it worse. So you're saying your police department takes it seriously, and instead of reporting it, you're just going to fight it back with more hate crime that hurts other communities in the same way that you tell us that you are hurt by it, and that makes it all okay. I'm really struggling with this. I'm trying, but I'm really struggling with this.
Way either racism, anti-Semitism, all that kind of stuff, all the other stuff is really highlighted a lot. And it just feels to me that we're not even noticed for it. It doesn't, they're just the brannies. It don't, they're tough because they think what we have to go through, that we are so tough and everything that we have to take it. Well, we don't have to take it. Why should we?
I feel like a lot of people don't understand what trans people go through as well. People just think that it's hormones and just surgeries and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's the psychological effects. It's the fact is we have to wait years to read.
Is there, Ducky? I'm sure there's going to be lots of videos, and of course there's going to be some FYP pages that hate me, and they're going to put horrible captions on it. Miss Remi being mean to the trans community. Like, listen, if that's people's takeaways, whatever.
You can be told that we're transgender by the NHS to be able to get surgeries that are really bloody expensive, especially lower half surgery for most trans people. We ain't got fucking 40 to 70k lying around. People don't understand that it's so fucking difficult trying to be ourselves, then trying to let other people, like, we don't, for me, I don't expect anybody to understand what I'm going through because it's lived experience, but all I expect is just people just to respect me for me, and that's the bottom line, and that's how it should be. And the fact is that people like,
and that's the thing, isn't it? That is the thing. And it's the same, we've got a lot of black rights activists on here who often will talk about what it's like to experience racism, and we know that not everyone who isn't from the black community or is a person of color, that they're never going to have that lived experience, just like I'm never going to have a trans experience. But what we can all do as decent fucking human beings is live with a bit of compassion and a bit of understanding versus being hateful to one another. I don't see the point. I genuinely don't see this point. I agree with you, Debs, but also a lot of people keep saying Dimitri is problematic. I know nothing about Dimitri. Other than what I saw last night, I thought that he talked a lot of sense. But again, I'm coming into this blind. I don't know what other stuff he's done. But I've heard him talking, and I've agreed with everything he said, which is probably why he also got kicked out of the box, because it's not the message that people, Eva Queen wanted to have come across.
here and educate people on it. It's just treat us as if we're the exact same as you. We can't help that we were born in the wrong fucking body, but you can help how you see us and how you view us, and that's simply fact. You know what I mean?
You treat them.
But the thing is, we've been trying to do that, and it's getting worse, and it keeps happening. And this one in the top box popped her lid and reacted the way she did. I mean, Kai, do you know what? We feel it, as I'm sure, just like.
Sorry, the dog's popping off. Dog's popping off. All right, so that one was on Evil Jelly FYP, and the first one was on Gossip Girl that I played. I want to play a little bit from Miss Faye's live as well. Let me just find it. Bear with me. Can we give it a rest, please, sir? Thank you. Oh, for God's sake, he's off again. I don't know if I'm getting a delivery or something, but the boy is losing his mind. Wait, do I need to go down or do I need to go up? There's so many clips. It's wild. So many clips. Yeah, Dinky needs the clout. I think I need to go up, not down. Let's go up and see if we can find the Miss Faye ones. Now, Miss Faye had some. I thought she had held some really interesting. Hold on, I need to just check the ring camera because this boy stresses me out and adds to my anxiety. There's one of Miss Faye, but I don't know if that's the one I want to play. Do you know what? Let me just click on it and see. Hold on.
Yeah. Guys, I'll have my own opinion on my own platform. I didn't.
No, that's not the one. There's one where it goes into a bit longer. Bear with me. Sorry, guys. I've got so many clips. It's out of control. But I did wanna have this conversation. I will open the boxes and you can come up and have your say on last night and what your takeaways were. And if there are any trans people who want to come and get in a box, you are more than welcome to, of course. Of course.
Hey guys.
So this one's on TikTok. TikTok toxicity. Miss Faye opens boxes for debate. There is another one I've got. This one's specifically about EQ. I don't want that one, I don't think. Hold on. Hello, EQ Minx, you alright? Let me find the other one. I'm sure there's another one where there was a longer one. There was a longer one.
I was on the operating table having
Nope, not that one.
my surgery.
There's one where Miss Faye is cam 2ing Eva Queen's live, and then when that ends, it's quite a long clip. Oh, unless I watched it. Oh, it might have been on YouTube. I might be watching that on YouTube. I might be watching that one on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Guys, I'll have my own opinion on my own.
Sweepsy! LA Sweeps. Welcome in, everyone. We're just recapping what happened last night. Eva Queen had a live with a lot of the trans community represented in the boxes, and then Miss Faye did a live after, and we're just discussing it. And you guys are all welcome to share your thoughts in the chat. But we just ask everyone to be respectful, respect pronouns, and just be kind to one another, please, and thank you.
Own platform. I didn't want to go in there in the first place. The only reason I want to go in there is because they've lost control of the live stream, let's face it. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what's going on. They're not even letting proper trans people into the box. Like, I don't know what's happening over there. Like, what's going on? It's a shit show. No one's talking about how it feels to be trans, what they've gone through, all of this stuff. No one's doing that, you know? Delusive Angie.
It was actually really good, Birdie. Miss Faye's was really good to watch.
I don't really want to join other people. I'd rather do my own. Yeah, Natasha let me in. Eva Queen, I put my camera on. Eva Queen pushed me out. Eva Queen did. because I said to her I didn't want to do it. So, and I didn't want to do it, but at the same time, you're all losing control of the live. To be honest, it's not, you know. JP, can you jump in or not? I know she, and then they both laughed about it. They both looked at each other and laughed about it. Is anyone, can anyone come too, guys?
There was another clip I had where there was more discussions, and Pharaoh was in the conversation as well. It's just I've got so many clips, it hurts my eyes trying to find them all. It's not going to be this far down, is it, Rem? Oh, it's make it make sense. Just tag me in a clip. I see it. Hopefully you were kind, but also doesn't matter. I won't look at it. I genuinely don't care what people say. Right, it's going to be up top, Rem. Go up, go up. Just an opinion, everybody. Just an opinion. Thank you, Fred Jellicoe. Does anybody want a dog? I'm happy to. Oh, oi! That's my mate. He just snatched my mail out the door. The little shit. Give me my post back. Absolutely not. That's mine. How dare you? How dare you? That little shitbag jumped, right, which is amazing considering he's the weight of a little fucking rhino, jumped up and snatched the mail out the door. How dare you? Oh, do you want to see him? He's had to shave. Hold on. Right, I've given him a little trim. Look, there we go. He doesn't look like a lion anymore. Hold on. Look, they're trying to see your face, Dinks. Look. Look. You can have him. How dare you rip my mail out the letterbox like that? I don't even know how it... Do you know, like the movie, White Men Can't Jump? Yeah? Well, there should be one called Dinky Can't Jump. Hold on, the monitor's got off. There we go. Monitor, come back on. There we go. Yeah, I don't know how he got ups like that. Is it the new... Is this because I cut your beard off? You think you can springboard and take me... He's never been able to reach the mail before. He feels lighter because he's had a trim, clearly. Right, there was a victory, wasn't there? And there was no sound. Here we go. Anyway, let me go back to that Miss Faye clip. Dinky got ups. So this is Chloe. This is. I'll have a look on my other phone in a minute. It says Chloe said she fell out of Evil Queen over scamming accusations. I mean, I don't particularly want to play this because I feel like it's just digging at Evil Queen, and I don't think that helps either. But I'm just going to play this for a little bit while I try and find the clip that I did actually want to play. So bear with me one sec.
Hey guys, how are you?
Well, we're good.
So Faye knows me, and I'm a bit older than most people. I'm 40. I might not look it, but I'm 40. And
me too.
I used to be a model as a man and stuff, and I had friends that knew friends in like things like TV and stuff. And when I was younger, it's such a shame that my Facebook and Instagram got deleted because Eva Queen and we knew each other back when, like, obviously she was on that Scouser Towie sort of program. Yeah. And I wish I could remember what happened, but we had some massive argument because she scammed me out of something, and literally I've known since then she was vile. And then when I first started seeing her on here, I was like, oh my God, I have literally stayed clear of anything on her lives because we do know each other, and I just stay clear. But I literally, when I was like younger, there was no internet when I was a kid, and I was from a tiny village in Cotswolds. Okay,
I think I'm just going to stop this one because I feel like this is a personal thing, and I really want to keep it on the trans discussion. And I don't know if this is it. Like I feel like this is like a let me just dig at someone, and I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like it. That is on TikTok toxicity if you want to go and it is on TikTok toxicity if you want to go and watch that one yourself.
Because Bailey's basically 2 years older than Elphaba. So that you have that, no offence to us older ones, but Bailey, I think, has that in common with the age. What's it called? Oh, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean, but the age.
The generation.
The generation. So you are actually right in the middle of that generation, Bailey. So
I mean, I was just about to say, I don't have any connection with her. No, thanks.
No, I know, but do you think it's damaging? Do you think she's damaging?
Yeah, it is very damaging. I mean, from...
As a 22-year-old.
As a 22-year-old, looking at a 20-year-old portraying that they are trans and then walking up and down the street with the trunk, you know, blowing in the wind and, you know, walking like they've got carpets under their arms, like a cross-dresser for a Benidorm, you know, walking up and down the street in heels, you know, it's like, I don't want to be viewed the same as you, because then that's going to be put on me. And then it's the same for, like, what people need to realise is a difference between...
Again, I'm going to go back to my point of when you have people in your own community, correct? When you have people in your own community attacking other people in your community, what is the message we are sending out to non-trans community? That it's okay, right? That's the message we're sending. It's problematic to me.
Between organophilia and being trans.
Thank you. There's the word. People don't want to hear that word though, Bailey. They don't. They think it's a really horrible thing to say.
I'm not being horrible when I say this, but we're all sat here as people that pass very fucking well. If people walk past us in the street, wouldn't have a clue if we were transgender unless we said, right?
Not always. That's that again.
This is not. No, let me just say this.
Please don't argue with each other, as I'll drop you right down.
Unclockable. And when I say this, we're saying this, but with the greatest respect, there's been a time that we haven't all passed, and we all haven't exactly looked like that gender that we now identify with. Do you know what I mean? We all start somewhere.
And we weren't conning people out of money, Dimitri, and lying about it.
Yeah, obviously, I don't agree with this. Is what I'm saying. I don't agree with the money and the lot.
Oh,
I've kicked him out.
And see, that's again, I talked about this earlier. That for me is problematic, right? In that what we're doing now is we're saying we can have a trans debate if hi Dimitri, we can have a trans debate if you agree with my way of thinking, and if you disagree or you say something that is not on par with the message I want to portray, then you get kicked out the box. I don't know if you lot don't see a problem with that, then I don't know what to tell you. But for me, like, if you are about true awareness for trans rights and you know, bringing attention to transphobia on this app, then behaving in this way and silencing people that are not singing from, what's the saying, singing from like the same hymn sheet as you, it's fucking problematic. And that's why I said earlier, and I'm sure I'll be hung, drawn and quartered for it, but I don't give a fuck, that this isn't actually about trans rights. This was about Evil Queen's agenda to be proven that she was right to use hate crime against hate crime and to build a panel of people that agree with her. And that's what makes this awful, in my opinion. Do I think that trans rights and trans awareness and trans educational life should happen? 100%. 100%. But not when there is an agenda behind it, in my opinion.
I've had enough of them. Get
I
someone
hear
else.
you.
Get someone
Okay,
else in, Miss
so-
Natasha, from the panel.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
He's a troublemaker anyway. I was surprised he was even here, to be honest.
Here we are,
I
Sebastian.
feel like that's what she's done most strong in all of this, is give her viewers and her followers the false sense of where that money's going. And then
it's fraud. And how does that look for us, Kai, when that's going on?
Out, Luke the Judge. Out you pop. Off you pop, Luke the Judge.
In our community, what does that make us look like?
It makes us all look the same, which we're not, but it gives other people...
Listen, I can't find the Faye clips. There was, unless we go over to YouTube, but it's a long clip. Okay, so what I would recommend, and maybe it was YouTube, and maybe I'm getting confused. I really think Miss Faye, for me, spoke a lot of sense last night. Now, I know... why are you writing in capitals, Julia, firstly? And secondly, I haven't read it because my brain tends to go like this when people write in capitals, so I'm just going to hope you're not being horrible. If you are, the mods will deal with it. I think it was on YouTube. There is, yeah, it is. It's on the Observer's account. And look for Miss Faye reacts to Evil Queen or something. It is worth a watch. There was an important conversation, and I found it quite educational. Unlike this discussion or this panel, I didn't, but I wish it was. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to open the boxes, because I feel like you've heard a lot of my opinions on this, and I'd love to hear your opinions. Now, I will say again, and I want to reiterate this point again, because I think it's important. I'm very confused by... I consider myself an ally. I consider myself an ally to the trans community, the G community, the disabled community, and the black community, and pretty much every community, because that's who I fucking am, right? So I'm still confused about what I'm being told by Evil Queen, which is, if you are not from the trans community, we can't call out transphobic behaviour, or we can't tell you what's transphobic. I'm trying to understand my position here, okay? Because my allies, if we have white people or other people who are out there who are calling out racism, who are calling out racist behaviour and are allies and supporting us, I'm very confused about what my position is supposed to be. Because when I call you out for transphobic behaviour and you turn around and say, you're not trans, you can't tell me that I'm transphobic whilst you're being transphobic, well, how do I help in this situation? Because if I'm out on the street and I see someone being doofed up, being harmed because they're trans, because I'm not trans, you don't want me to speak up. Is this the message? Because I'm confused. And also, directly to Evil Queen, I went head to head with Evil Queen over reclaimed words, and you guys will probably remember it. And I told her that the N-word has been reclaimed by the black community, and she sat on her platform and told people I was stupid, I didn't know what I was talking about, and that black people can't reclaim words. Yeah, so just so we're clear, as a white woman, you can't tell a black woman, yeah, about my culture because you're not black. Just like, according to your logic, I can't call out transphobia because I'm not a trans person. You see what we're doing here? Yeah, I just want to leave that right there. Request the boxes if you want to come up, because I find all of this confusing as fuck. When you come up, please can you just go on mute?
Wait, what have I got to do? All I heard was all of...
Just go on mute for now, please. Thank you. Everybody on mute. And I keep unmuting you, sorry. Anybody else want to come up? Anyone else want to come up? Well, listen, Dimitri. Dimitri wrote, well, trans people have reclaimed the T slur. I gave several examples of the LGBT community reclaiming words, but I was told there was no such thing as reclaiming words, and it's not a thing, and basically to shut my effing mouth. So this is where we're at. Right, welcome up everybody. So listen, I want to be super clear about how I run my room. I really want us to stay on topic and talk about, you know, the lives that happened yesterday. I do not want this to be a personal slanging match or a bitch session, because it's not how I roll, but I do want to hear your voices and your opinions on the debate that was happening yesterday and the wider conversation around transphobia on this app. I'm so happy to hear all of your voices, but let's keep on topic and let's not deviate into petty shit, because I ain't got time or the energy for it. Fair? Dimitri, would you like to start, darling? Let me do I have to request you to unmute? There we go.
There you go.
Hello.
So I was on there last night and I walked in blindsided. I got told it was coming on the app to speak about transphobia and everything. It was going to be really educational. I don't go live anymore, but then I seen your live on my For You page. So I was like, no, I need to get in here and have my say. Last night, what I thought was hyper hypocritical. We were all talking about transphobia, right, and how it affects us.
Yeah.
Then it flipped and they started being transphobic. And I'm sorry to say this, trans people can be transphobic, just like a black person can be racist.
Correct.
It's not a get out of jail free card.
Correct.
As much as race and gender are two separate issues, hate crime. Do you know what I mean? We all have similarities in terms of how we feel, in terms of certain words and actions and how they make us feel. My issue was last night was when I was trying to say, listen, we can't sit here and cry transphobia when you guys are sat there being transphobic towards somebody else. And I'm not being funny. I don't agree with Alpha Bar on a lot of the things she's done on this app. But if she wants to identify as a trans woman, then let her, because I'm pretty sure every trans person in their lifetime has had somebody tell them they're not transgender. And I'm sorry, but as people that sit here and pass, which we do have passing privilege, passing is a privilege and not to be expected, is something that I live by. And ultimately, I'm very lucky with hormones, but I know for trans women, it's a lot harder. But like I was trying to say to everybody, regardless if Alpha Bar does complete a transition or doesn't, mental health needs to be sorted first. You can quite clearly tell she's got a lot of mental issues, and I'm talking from somebody that works quite closely with gender clinics. They would not see it on the DSM-5, which is still classed as mental health, under the transsexualism gender dysphoria diagnosis. She would not pass that.
Yeah.
They would then be sending her, they'd probably section her, to be honest with you. She'd probably be 136 by the police, or she'd be put on an observation section and everything else like that.
I'll be honest, I've said that on this platform, Dimitri. I don't know shit about the trans. That's not fair. I know a bit, but I don't know a lot. Obviously, I've not gone through it. But I've said on this platform that just from looking at Elphaba, I can guarantee there is no way she'd even get past the mental health stage, let alone the actual, you know, the physical transition stage to get there. And I think we need to bear that in mind. And nobody's excusing Elphaba's behaviour. We know they are problematic as fuck, but I 100% still don't understand why, at the very least, we just can't use the correct pronouns, whether we think they're a disgusting person or not. Why do we have to not just not use their pronoun, but be so derogatory to them? But I also get, you know, Miss Natasha was saying because it harms the greater community.
It does harm the community, but ultimately, are we not harming our own community by saying to people that she's not trans, by dead naming, by misgendering? Because then people think that's okay, and then they'll go do that to other trans people, and that's how it all starts. Because ultimately, since Alpha Bar has been on the app, and people like Mama Kaz and like Miss Faye, I'm sorry to say it, transphobia has gotten a lot worse on this app. I hate to say it, and I get Miss Faye did the educational live last night, but she's no better. I've heard her turn around and call Alpha Bar a man and say this, that, and the other. And it's funny how people will change their opinions to fit the narrative of the whatever they want to paint out. When one group's being horrible, oh, there's another live with a creator that's also been horrible, but they're being nice. Ultimately, I learnt my lesson. I had somebody say stuff about my transition after I said some unspeakable things about people's transitions. I now know how that feels. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, people need to focus on their own goddamn transitions. And all these trans women sat here, even those who are at the same point as Alpha Bar, shut your goddamn mouth, get on your hormones, save your bloody money, and go and sort out your own life and your own transition instead of fucking fixating on everybody else's. Because I'm sorry, you're that boring. You have to sit there and speak about everybody else and slag off somebody else's transition. Because do you know what they've got? Internalized transphobia. And I'm sorry for the trans women that are doing it. It's bringing out your misogyny and it's bringing out gay man bitchy energy. That's what it's the vibe that it's giving. And I'm probably only a trans person to say this because people wouldn't hate on me for saying it. But ultimately, it feels like I can say it and I'm not deemed transphobic and I'm not deemed that and the other. But anybody else who's non-trans that bloody says it, Jesus Christ, you guys get hung, drawn and fucking quartered. The transphobia word comes out. I'm sorry, try being transphobically abused by your neighbour that you were living above for 9 months and it's only just going to court now. Then come back and tell me that's transphobia. Just because somebody doesn't want to sleep with you or just doesn't agree with you or just says that you're not making any effort towards your transition. No, they're stating facts and it's preference. Simple as that. It's not transphobia.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
It
Thank you,
annoys me
Dimitri.
because I feel for you guys because it's allies. We make up 0.0 whatever the percent of the fucking population we make up. We would not have our goddamn fucking rights if it wasn't for people like you standing up for us. So yeah, you can call out transphobia. Yes, you can call out shitty behaviour because ultimately we would not be where the fuck we are and wouldn't be able to bloody transition. We'd still be stuck in section whatever. I can't remember the number of it off the top of my head. But it was like, it was basically say no gay, nobody could be trans, nobody could be LGBT in the UK. Jesus fucking Christ, if it wasn't for you lot, we would still be fucking stuck in those times and they're trying to put us back there. Like, okay, then let every ally shut up and let's see how far we fucking get. And it's like that comedian said, the trans community and the LGBT community need to take some bloody pointers off the bloody Black Lives Matter movement because I'm sorry, Black Lives Matter, look at what BLM did. What's the fucking trans community done? Got fucking puberty blockers and everything fucking else is fucked up for us now. If it's not broken, don't try fucking fix it.
Dimitri has spoken. Thank you, Dimitri.
Right.
I appreciate you coming and sharing your voice. Pocket Rocket, hello. Let me invite you to unmute. You there, Pocket Rocket? Hello.
Hi Remi. Hi everyone.
Hello, darling.
So I didn't actually watch her live. I've obviously watched your reactions today because I'll be honest, I didn't 100% feel that EQ was the right person to do it due to everything that's been going on the app recently with her throwing racial slurs to defend being transphobically abused. You can't use a hate crime against a hate crime. But earlier you said you didn't understand where Deville was coming from, where she said she understands, but obviously she disagrees.
Yeah.
I think what she kind of is making the point of is it's like, and I know this is going off topic a little bit, but I suppose it's the only kind of way that I've got
That's all right.
that
Go on.
I've understood it.
Go on.
You have like shoplifters sometimes, people that like obviously are homeless or single families or even joint families that can't afford like basic food things and that. You turn like a blind eye to that, but you don't agree with the action itself, if that makes sense.
I get you. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So I think maybe Deville is kind of going on the basis of she understands why Evil Queen said the things that she said, but she doesn't agree with what she did.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that.
And the other thing that you brought up is obviously claiming words back. I always thought that the N slur was always in the black community. I didn't think anybody else had claimed that.
No, nobody has claimed that. The black people have reclaimed the N word for use from white people who used it against us as slaves. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, right. Now I understand because I was a bit confused. I was like, how can someone claim a word back but nobody else should have ever used because they're not part of that community. They're not part of that culture.
I was trying to educate Evil Queen on reclaimed words because she was saying that if white people can't use the N word, then neither should black people. And I was explaining that the word was reclaimed, and she told me I was an idiot and that words couldn't be reclaimed. So that was the reference I was talking to.
Right,
And,
that
and
makes
yeah,
that makes a lot
and
more
Pebbles,
sense.
you're 100% correct. And in my speech on that, I made it very clear. I'm a black person who doesn't use the N word, but there are black people who do use it, and it's up to them to use that word. But so it was a debate I was having with Evil Queen, who was a white woman
Right.
telling me that nobody should use the N word, and I was using as an example. Yeah, it's exactly like the T slur. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Um, that has been reclaimed. Like, what was the other word that do you remember, Debs, when I gave the example? There was another word that was used with the G community. What was it? It might have been the T word that at one point
Was it the
was.
Q word?
Yes, it could have been. Yeah, the Q word that at one point was a derogatory term to call someone, but that word, the Q word, has been reclaimed. But again, not by all of the G community, but it's now a reclaimed word that is a word, that they will use comfortably. Some, and again, and it's the same with the N word. I'm not saying all black people use that word.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Q word. Not all gay people are going to use the Q word. But those words have been reclaimed from being a word that was used in a hate capacity to being owned by those communities. So that's what I was referring to, Pocket Rocket,
That
earlier.
makes so much more sense. Now that you've explained it, it makes so much more sense. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure, like, nobody else should be using it derogatory or like slang or anything because it isn't our word to start off with.
Of course, yeah. So it was just a heated discussion I was having with Evil
And
Queen.
like my third point is from the clips that I've seen, I I'm very 50-50 on Alpha Bar. I will not use pronouns for them, but I will say they them
Okay.
respectfully. Because if they want to be known as something, then why not? It's not hurting anybody else.
This is my
It's
point.
nobody else's business what you want to be in life. It's not a choice. You don't wake up one day and go, do you know what? I want to be a bloke or I want to be a lady. And it's the same for obviously everyone in the LGBTQ community. Nobody wakes up one day and just decides this is what I'm going to be. You're born like it, and people need to be more bloody respectful, excuse my language, of people's mental health, their feelings, and the fact that they are validated as a person just because you were born in the wrong body or who you love or the colour of your skin or whatever. We all bleed the same.
Yeah.
Our hearts will beat the same.
Can
Do you
I
know
ask
what
you a
I mean?
question, Pocket Rocket?
Yeah.
You said that you choose to refer to them as they or them. Can I ask why you won't use she or her, which is the preferred pronouns that she would like to use?
Mainly because of the way that she's conned people out of money for her transition. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, the amount of money that she has received, she could have gone on to hormones privately. She could have had top surgery. Instead, she chose to go and buy Gucci bags and put things in up her nose.
But
I
what?
don't agree with it.
So you're saying because of her behaviours, and I'm not attacking you. I'm genuinely just wanting a conversation. But you're saying so because of her behaviours that you don't agree with, you're going to make a choice to not use preferred pronouns.
I think she hasn't made any sort of thing in transitioning. They haven't, sorry. They haven't.
But again, but then isn't this us judging people's
You
transition?
shouldn't be judging people because at the end of the day, regardless of what there's reasons sometimes why people can't go onto hormones. Just like I stated with Alpha Bar's mental health, I know trans people in my life that I have a lot of time and respect for that might not go into hormones because they might be having problems with their mental health, with their weight. There could be problems with, they could have problems with blood clots because going on to HRT increases your risk of getting blood clots.
There's a
There's
million
multitudes of
reasons. Yeah,
reasons.
there's a lot of
Sophie
Oh,
reasons.
transitioning
right,
comes
okay,
before
I didn't know
medical.
that.
Hear
I'll
me
be
out.
honest.
Alpha Bar is 20, right? When her parents did not sign that form, which no under 18 can medically transition in the UK, she can't medically transition until she turned 18. In order to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, you have to live as your assigned gender, not live as your assigned gender, sorry, live at the gender you now identify with for 2 whole years and provide evidence for. So now she's 20, yes, she could medically start, but 2 years ago when everybody was hung, drawn and quartering her, she wouldn't be able to. And this is what people don't realise about the DSM-5 diagnosis. That is the gender dysphoria diagnosis. You have to be yourself now. Like for me, I had to be Dimitri for 2 years before I went on to hormones, but I was naughty and I self-medicated because I was so desperate because my parents wouldn't sign off on the forms, everything else like that. And I think that's what people don't understand and realise. Transitioning isn't just as simply as going to the doctors and saying, I want to be put on hormones. You have to be out, you have to provide evidence. There's loads of things, there's loads of loopholes. I've had to wait 6 years to be seen by the NHS to now be told 3 or more years till I can get lower surgery. Everything else I've paid for privately. Do you know what I mean? It's not just that easy. It's not just as simple. It's a massive thing. It's not just simple as waking up one day and saying, oh, I want to be a boy. Let me just go shave all my hair off and just go and inject hormones. There's a lot. The amount of pressure that I had to come out, bearing in mind, I come from a mum who's Muslim and a dad who's Catholic. Like, you can obviously imagine what it's like for me from a cultural perspective, let alone the area that I grew up in. I didn't know what transgender was. I thought I was mentally unwell. So I had all that to battle with. At the age of 15, for me to even come out, people who judge Elfbar for not medically transitioning, one, when she's ready to do so, she will. Yes, she shouldn't have blown that money on things that she shouldn't have blown it on. But ultimately, who the fuck are you to judge? Because imagine if I told a woman, oh, all women should go on the contraception. Every fucking woman here would be hunting me down. Or if I turn around and said abortion should be banned. So why the fuck are you doing that towards trans people? Do you know what I mean? It's the same if I said anything towards any minority community.
Yeah. I'll just say Sophie's made a really good point, and which is also she doesn't have to fully transition if she doesn't want to. And I think, and that's the thing, is that, like, I think sometimes people, it's like, I mean, I don't know what the bar is, but there appears to be this bar of, like, unless you've had every single thing changed on your body, only at that point are you considered to be a trans person. But we have to remember there are pre-operative trans stages that people have to go through, and I think with Alpha Bar, you know, they are a problem. We know they're a problem, right? But because they haven't started the transition for whatever reason, I just think it's unfair to say, well, because they haven't started, we're not going to use their preferred pronouns. And we sat and we heard lots of people talking yesterday about feeling from a very young age, their brain was telling them that they're in the wrong body, and everyone transitions at different phases. So I do struggle when people are talking about Elphaba's transition and journey and saying, well, they've not done it, or they've had money to do it. Yes, they may have had money to do it, but what if they haven't passed the mental health checks? What if there are other problems, like Dimitri has highlighted, that they can't go on that journey yet for whatever reason, that we then make a decision, well, if they're not transitioning at a speed that we deem to be correct, therefore we just won't use their pronouns. I find that problematic, that's all. And Dimitri's just given an example of how long things take.
It's really long and it's expensive. Like, I'll give you guys a ballpark. For my top surgery, I paid £6,790. That was pre-COVID. Now it's 10 grand. I've spent about 50k in hormones, and then for lower surgery, 40,000 to 70,000 pound in the UK. What trans person has that unless you're Elon Musk's daughter? Do you know what I mean? And I'm saying this, what people do not realise is these surgeries are hella risky. I have to go through 3 operations. I could lose feeling. I have to take skin grafts. People don't realise these surgeries are risky. My best friend doesn't regret her lower surgery, but she went through that much trauma with it that she's not completely happy with it because of the risks and the complications. Yes, you might choose to go private, yes, because it's quicker, because the NHS waiting list, but that isn't feasible for everybody. Not everybody's got a grand to go and get bloody diagnosis for gender dysphoria. Not everybody can fund themselves privately because GPs sometimes don't bridge prescription. Like, you can get there's so many complications with transitional surgeries and hormones that people don't realise the actual cost of all this. I'd love to see, I'd love to see you going to your doctors when you have a chest infection and then being told, oh, it's 6 years to receive that chest infection. It's 60 grand for your medication. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Mental health services are massively overstretched as they are. Then imagine trans people who are then getting mental health problems because of the long fucking waiting times. Like myself, I've got complex PTSD for everything I've been through, let alone being mistreated by the NHS after a bloody after a hysterectomy because of my endometriosis, which wasn't caused by hormones. It was caused by being put on the pill because they thought, oh, it's hormonal problems. No, I was just severely autistic, but as a female, obviously previously, everybody who knows ADHD and autism, you're fobbed off and told it's hormonal, and it's all just
Exactly.
your period.
Yeah. I've gone through
People
exactly
don't
the same
understand
with
how
the
difficult
autism.
it is. And I know I've gone completely off topic with a little bit there,
It's
but
all
this is what people need to realise is it's not fucking easy. Do you think I wished, do you know what? People always say to me, do I wish that I was not born trans? No, I don't, because the reason why is so I can educate people and show people this is what it's like to be fucking transgender. And I'm sorry, EQ, and I will say this with the most respectful way, she hadn't scammed the benefit system, she wouldn't be where she is today. That's the way I see it. Do you know what I mean? So she can sit there and hung drawn and quarter every fucking house for their transitions, and how far wasting her money, she stole money off our taxpayers to pay for her transition. So, do you know, with the greatest respect, do you know what I mean? And this is the one thing that
you say with the greatest of respect. There was none, but yes, we get your meaning, and let's
I'm gonna before I get myself into trouble.
Let's just
as Dimitri pointed out those facts, I'll be honest, I knew that like obviously you need mental health checks and doctors and things like that, but I didn't actually know that there were reasons that you can't start your transition. I genuinely didn't know that, and I do apologise for that.
That's all right,
and
but that's why these
now,
conversations are important as well.
yes,
you know?
God, this is giving me so much more insight than EQ's live last night. I mean, from now on, I will respect her pronouns and obviously use she, her on that basis of the conversation I've just had with Dimitri. And it is very important to have Dimitri's side of things because he was silenced yesterday. There's no two ways about it. He was silenced. And the things that he has come out with today on your live, Remi, needed to be bloody said yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this for 10 years, do you know what I mean? I've been out since I was 15, and I sat there last night, and I'm going to say this because I am Kai's friend. I sat there and was really disappointed with him last night. Really disappointed. There's another actually for all the trans people that got in that box, because we've all had it. We've all sat there and we have said the transphobia card when it has been transphobia. But why is... And it does really fucking hurt me because do you know what? I got ripped to shreds on this app by trans people and nobody said boo to a fucking goose. So when I seen it happen to Alpha Bar, after I fucking did it myself, to her, I ain't going to sit here and say that I haven't. I got humbled. So I really, as horrible as it sounds, I fucking hope it happens to them too, because do you know what? It might change their fucking brains and make them wake up and realise, actually, in-community hate is the biggest thing. Do you know the amount of transphobia I get? It's from my own bloody community, not even from people like you.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to give I like to give both sides of the coins, right? So what I will say is I did hear, and again, you know, if anyone wants to share this to Miss Faye or whoever else, I heard Miss Faye saying, and I heard Mama Kaz say it as well, that at some point, Elphaba themselves have said, I don't want to transition. Now, I've never heard that. But I also, just to see the other side of the coin, for the trans people that are calling out, so like the Miss Natashas and the Evil Queens, who are calling out Evil Queen, if they have, calling out Elphaba, I'm sorry, who have heard allegedly Elphaba saying that I don't want to be a woman, I don't want to transition, if that is true, that is something that Elphaba has said before, I can also understand why certain members of the trans community feel frustrated by that. So I'm not saying she has said that, I'm saying that's what I've heard, but I'm just saying if that is true, I can understand why certain trans people will not refer to her and say because she's not on a transition because she said it herself. So I just wanted to give the other side. No?
I believe she has said on a live that she wanted top surgery but is scared to actually go through with the transition she wants hormones, but is scared of starting taking them. So I don't know whether, because she's come out and said she's scared of how it may affect her, is that what they're now going by and going, oh, well, that means she's not transitioning at all?
Yeah, no,
Because
they've twisted
being
that.
scared to start anything, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
of
like a
course.
child going to school for the very first day. They're going to be scared.
Yeah.
You don't know how those hormones are going to affect you, or
They're
whether if
irreversible
you
medication as well. You can't reverse the changes once you start them. So, do you know what I mean? Like, for me, if I was to detransition, I'd still have all the hair. I'd have to go through electrolysis. I'd still have, like, the bottom growth. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, I just
hormones are irreversible.
wanted to put it out there that that's what I heard Miss Faye saying, or Mama Kaz, sorry, I can't remember who. I
I
think it was
must,
both of them. But
I
again,
must,
it's just alleged what I've heard them saying. They have heard Elphaba saying. I'm just getting messages just to let you know that there is a live happening over on Delusive Angie's, and she is continuing the trans conversation over there. Apparently Evil Queen is over there, and apparently she has been racist again to Torian
oh
unprovoked.
God.
So,
Not
so shit
again.
is still continuing on, guys, today.
I,
Someone's saying that Elphaba did say it, and they also said it to CLA. But I just look in this room. I like to always give both sides of the coin. That I don't want it to be like Remi's just sitting here dragging trans people who are dragging Elphaba, because I have heard from some other trans people that Elphaba has said themselves that they never really wanted to fully transition. So, like, I just wanted to put both sides out there so that it's
But
fair. I don't
fully
know the truth.
transition means, like, complete lower surgery.
Yeah, could
Like,
be.
if she said she just
I
want
mu-
fully transition, that's valid. But I feel like you shouldn't be told that you're not trans just
I
because you
agree.
don't want lower surgery.
I
There's
agree.
trans people that
yeah.
come out and don't go onto hormones. There's trans people, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I just think at
100%
the end of the
agree.
day, if she's happy the way that she is, let her fucking live her life. Just
Yeah.
stop trying to scam people for the money and saying you can
Exactly.
trans healthcare. Then
Stop.
I have
I'll be-
I have no issue. You
Stop
know what
being
I mean?
a
I have no
scammer.
issue. Use your bag on what you want.
Correct. Stop being a
Pretty much.
scammer.
Stop
We
trying to
don't
tell
give a
people that you're
fuck.
going. Yeah,
I'll
that's
be
all I care about. It's like, as long
very,
as
very
she's fucking
honest.
Oh,
happy.
one at a time, please. One at a time. Right.
I think first of all, mic drop moment to Dimitri, because he has absolutely slayed the facts today. So thank you, Dimitri. and also I want to give props to Pocket Rocket, because Pocket Rocket has listened and has changed, and this is what this live
Thank
is all
you.
about. Because
Yeah.
when you can educate and when people can listen and get a different perspective, that's why this type of live is really important, because nobody's slagging anybody else here.
No,
We're just giving facts, and we're just doing what we can to educate people, or that when they don't know, because there is so much information going around, and the main misinformation is this whole thing that if you're trans you can't, if you're not trans you can't have an opinion on who's trans and who's not. And with that, what I do want to say, even if Elphaba didn't want to fully transition ever, and even if she has said, well, I don't want to be trans, if she want trans, it'd probably be easier for her. So I know with what I've been through, I don't want to be what I've been through. But I am, and that's just how it is. And so when you are something and you don't want to be, just because you don't want to be doesn't mean you're any less trans than you are.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And also, when it comes to people have donated and given her money to be trans, if she wants to buy a handbag, so she does feel more like a woman with that beautiful handbag, why not? If she wants to buy clothes that make her
I didn't
feel
think of it like that, to be fair.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realise. And that's why I love that you're up here, Pocket Rocket, because you're just learning and lapping it all up, which is fantastic.
I've learned so much today. And I'm like, my whole opinion on it, because obviously I follow somebody called Toby J, who is a trans man, and he's always gone on about the fact that you're not trans unless you transition, because the clue is in the name transition. And so on that perspective, I was kind of like, if you haven't even like sort of started like talking to people or like things like that, then you can't be trans. And I think because of the way that like some of the people that I've seen on the app, I haven't come across people like Dimitri who are shouting facts. And like
and this is it,
educating
isn't it?
people.
Because the word transition doesn't mean operation. Transition is transitioning from male to female or female to male, and that doesn't mean any operations have to take place for that transition to happen.
Exactly, it can look different for every person, and you could grow to the fully big age of 95 and never ever have taken that full surgery, but you still identified your whole entire life as a trans person.
There's a
And
lot of
that's
older
okay.
trans people as well who come out, like maybe in like their 30s or 40s, and they don't
How
want to.
dare you call us older people 30s
No,
and
but I'm
40s?
saying, like,
How
no,
dare you?
I'm not saying older. Hear me out. Hear me out before I. In terms of like trans world, most people come out like a lot younger, but we do
Yeah,
get
no,
older.
I get
A
you.
lot of the, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
People who
get
are like a little bit older than like the stereotypical age of
30
like,
or
18,
40,
whatever,
for
yeah, like,
fuck's sake. Let's
okay,
block,
leave me alone. I'm
let's
only
block
25.
Dimitri Muds! Block him! Right, listen.
And also this, I will follow on from what Dimitri's just said, because when older people come out, because they've always felt a certain way, but have followed the societal constructive paths that there are. What happens then is that they then go through the wearing the clothes, doing the hair, doing the makeup, or whatever. And for them, it is a big scary thing, because they might have spent 40 or 50 years of their life being one gender and having to be one way. And so actually thinking about going any further than that is a big thing. Any further than having top surgery is a big thing.
Yeah, my
And
friend's
when it
stepdad
does come to
transitioned at like 66, 67, and just like it was a huge shock for the whole family. But at that point in life, you may, like you say, you might not want to go and have those surgeries, or maybe you're not even allowed to, because you might have other conditions that, as Dimitri explained, that means you can never have it anyway. Like you couldn't go.
Like there's some people that don't want to transition when they're a little bit older later on in life, because going on to hormones, like they might not be in the financial position, because of the gender waiting times. Do you know what I mean? Like regardless of what point you transition, you need to remember that also transition is quite financially expensive. There's like, I think now, what is it, like 9 to 10 grand for a hysterectomy if you want a hysto in the NHS, unless you've got fertility problems or you've got problems with your what's it called, female reproductive system, then you don't always get them. And it's really hard. It's a hard battle. Do you know what I mean? I think this is what a lot of people don't realise, regardless of where you are in your transition period, whether or not you've had lower surgery, you haven't, if you're on hormones or you're not. I think people need a wake-up call to realise that it's not that easy. The waiting lists are ridiculous. GICs are being closed down left, right and centre. And the fucking reason I know this is because I work very closely with mine. Like, the fact is now, they weren't offering therapy before or after surgery. I had a mental breakdown after my hysterectomy. Guess what my GIC are now doing? Offering therapy group sessions for those before and after they go for surgery, which needed to fucking happen. Because guess why they couldn't do that? They didn't have the money, they didn't have the funding. But now, because they're introducing people like peer support workers, like myself, like Zach, there's other people that are introduced now into our GICs that we go and help other people out that maybe are waiting to go on hormones and they're a little bit nervous about it, or they've just had top surgery and they've got the post-op blues. Because I've been through that, I know what it's like, and I didn't have fuck all help. Nobody was there from the trans community when I was crying my fucking eyes out, wanting to TikTok shop myself. Do you know what I mean? Nobody was there when I needed them the most. And ultimately, I've always said that's the reason why I do the content the way that I do. And that's the reason why you will not catch me ripping another trans person up.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that. Listen, can we go to Deja? Oh, there's a lot of crackling noise. Oh, what's happening? I want to go to Deja, who's been sat here patiently. Is that Deja?
Yes, it is. Hi, Miss Remi. How are you?
Hello, darling. How are you? Sorry to keep you so
Good
long.
afternoon, everyone. No, it's fine. If I could just go back, last night what had happened, Miss Natasha, who is known as DeVille, basically had contacted and reached out to quite a few of us trans people that she knows. And it didn't go the way that she had planned. I mean, it was meant to be 5 trans women and 4 trans men. Nobody straight was allowed to come in whatsoever.
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't. I think EQ just obviously took over and had her own agenda. I can agree on that. Now, obviously, I know EQ from the stuff that she has done, which I find quite harmful for the trans community. And when I was told about that she's doing this, I thought to myself, right, well, if she's a big creator on here and the message was to educate people about our experiences and how tough it is
Yeah.
and how hard it can be and how these words could have a real effect, it just became into a whole, as soon as alphabet is mentioned, everyone just goes onto this huge, debate about alphabet.
Yeah.
There's hundreds and thousands of trans people on this app, which are not like that. They could be represented a lot more, and it just never happened. Alphabet wasn't even there, and everything was about alphabet. And I feel really sorry for Miss Natasha, to be honest, because obviously it's marketing. She's in a bigger creator's life. She needed to reach out and get the audience talking about this subject,
Yeah.
but obviously she had to respect the host as well.
Yes.
So I feel as if my main profile on here is has my flags of my background,
Yep.
but I'm quite racially ambiguous. So
Okay.
I feel as if that I was only risen into a box because I didn't look like a person of color. Maybe the moment I had mentioned, because for the last 10, 15 minutes I was waiting, the conversation had been about the comparison of being trans and racism.
Mhm.
And so when I came into the box, the first thing I did mention was about someone had mentioned, I think it was Portia, about, and then EQ had mentioned about reporting it to the police and whatnot. So I wanted to clarify that as somebody who is a trans woman of colour, there's been experiences that I've reported something to the police and nothing has ever been done about it. It's not even been noted.
Yeah.
Only when one of my white boyfriend had gone in, or somebody white that I knew had gone in, I found out that it wasn't even noted down that I made a complaint. And then they only took notice of them when they were complaining that they had experienced it and they were stood with me. So, I mean, it's one of them things, obviously, across different counties, they have different sort of thing.
Yeah.
And police officers can be quite prejudiced in themselves. Not everyone is professional.
100%.
The moment that I had said all of this, and I'm somebody who believes that, we all started off at one point. You can't turn around and say one other person isn't trans like another. Now, someone like Portia who started transitioning at 14, can't really then be saying, like, I've seen her in many other lives before where she comes for people saying they're not trans because they're not on the hormones. There's multiple of reasons why people aren't on hormones, whether it be mental health, whether it be physical, whether it be where they are mentally in their lives, whether they want to. I think it's actually looking after yourself to make sure you're doing it correct and taking your time instead of rushing into something. Now, I feel as if with Alphabet, I mean, she's obviously from a certain background, and I feel as if anyone had 10 grand given to them, what was the first thing you'd want to do if you never had money? Go and spend it, enjoy yourself. Now, I totally disagree with obviously having more than 250,000 that you've made and you've still not done anything. But then again, I do think to myself, well, maybe she is up in arms, so she doesn't know what to do, what direction to go.
Is
Maybe
that
she's
really
just
how
trying
much
to.
she's made? Sorry to interrupt you. Is it that?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard from
Fucking
other
Nora.
people.
But listen, it doesn't matter all the money in the world though, because if you're not ready or you're not capable or like, oh, it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But it's also like we've got to remember that in many respects, Elphaba is a child,
Yeah.
very childlike behaviour that we see often. And I've said it before, and I know Dimitri said it about, they might not be ready for another 10 or 20 years.
Personally, I think it's something called adverse childhood experiences, which is ACEs from a young age. If you think about how much trauma she's seen, she's not had a dad around. Her mum's an alcoholic and a raging, snowflake
Well,
user.
let's be careful, allegedly.
But, alleged. We've
I don't like calling
we've all
people
seen the white
alcoholics.
powder on the noses on the videos.
The
We're not
signal's
stupid.
bad, Dimitri.
But at the end of the day, I can see it because my own mother's the exact same. Do you know what I mean? And I can see when she's in that position and possible, people need to realise she's been through a lot at a young age. She hasn't had the right guidance. She hasn't got a look around that a lot of trans people don't have. And she's been thrown into the limelight because her wig got snatched off in the middle of Barnstable and she got all this following. She doesn't know what the fuck. At her age, I wouldn't have known what to have done with 500,000 followers.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I let alone know what to do at 25 and 75.
Emma makes a good point. People can be mad about the money, but again, we're talking about their behaviour, aren't we, and not their identity. Yes, Del, you
Sorry,
can
Miss
come up.
Remi.
Let's go back to Deja to carry on. Sorry for interrupting, darling.
No, sorry, I just got to get going soon.
Sorry, babe.
No, it's okay, darling. So basically, I just feel as if the whole trans girls who are very privileged in the sense that they are passing right now. I'm very lucky that I pass when I walk down the street. But obviously, there's obviously traumas in my life. There's multiple different reasons why I haven't had the therapy to do voice training, for example.
Yeah.
And I feel as if when people turn around and call you out on something, if somebody says you're a BITC, you're going to turn around and be a BITC in rebellion. And I feel like sometimes it's like when people come at you and say, why haven't you changed everything about yourself? Blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you want to hold on to that. And for me, it's like just a quick thing. It's like I was diagnosed with bipolar at 21. I'm now 34. I came out as trans in that moment, but no one. I was on the gender clinic waiting list for more than 10 years. No one ever said to me that you have to clear up. We're not going to give it you because of all the medications you were on. The doctors are telling you to take the medications. On the other hand, you're waiting for the gender clinic, but no one's telling you why. So I mean, and for me, gender and gender and mental health come hand in hand. It's kind of like a circle sort of thing. And I feel as if like there's multiple reasons why people do what they do and the journey that they are on. We can't just look at it so black and white. And the last thing I want to say is about trans women, like basically saying you're not trans enough. And that's the conversation we need to have. Yeah. Because invalidating somebody else who is actually, you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know how complex it can be. And I feel as if just everyone just needs to be a lot more kinder. I understand about Elphaba, having all that money, should have done something about it. But I just want to say one thing is that she probably didn't even know that she was going to get this money coming up. Yeah. Maybe she thinks she's going to always have that money. Yeah. Maybe she thought like, maybe she thought she'll always have that money. Maybe she's not making that money now. It wasn't as if she got it all in one chunk. So yeah, if we're just being fair about things, I think everyone does need to leave Elphaba to it. Don't give her money anymore. She needs to learn for herself about this. Yes, make awareness about her, raising money and not using it where it needs to. Everyone just needs to stop their pockets of giving gifts to this person. Yeah. And I think everyone just needs to focus on trans women and the trans women that are speaking about these things. We need to all make a change on not judging somebody else for how far they've come in the transition. That's where we'll see the change.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me up, Miss Remi.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming up and sharing and speaking so beautifully. And sorry for keeping you waiting for so long.
No problem, darling. Everyone have a great day. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Big loves, Deja. Big loves. Take care.
Can I just add on to what Deja said about, obviously, it is a witch hunt when it comes to Elphaba. The minute she's mentioned, everybody opens up.
Yeah.
And she hasn't got support. She hasn't. Her mum doesn't support her. You can see that on lives. It's very clear. And I'm just wondering, is Elphaba sort of like a cop out, if that makes sense? So if anything's said, it's Elphaba this, Elphaba that. Because of her behaviours, the people kind of just sort of like use her to deflect on what they're doing, if that makes sense.
I feel like sometimes it's the case with some of the bigger creators in terms of the ones that do speak about Elphaba that haven't been the exact perfect people online either. But I do feel like with some people who talk about Elphaba, they know that as minute Elphaba's name's mentioned on a video, I can confirm that I had a video go to 500,000 bloody views because I spoke about how the fact is she threw the transphobia card around.
That's what I
feel
mean.
like TikTok uses that word and people are speaking about her because they know they can bang views. And now it's a minute over. Imagine how many people are doing minute-long videos and making bank off her name. That's all I'm going to say. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, Dimitri. She seems to be the topic to get views in, to get the money in, because of the way that she behaves and things. And I generally wonder if there is more going on underlying with her. I mean, the obsession with Wicked, some of her behaviours with like Pokemon. Like,
this is why I think she might be on the, I'm not a psychologist, but I think she might be on the autism spectrum.
I've thought that for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought that for a very long time. Because the way that she has her outbursts, they are very, very similar to my children. When they have meltdowns, and they are boys. Whereas I'm female and I have severe autism. My meltdowns are very, very different, and it is a lot harder for autistic girls than it is autistic boys because we identify differently. And I generally do wonder, is she undiagnosed autistic? And is she self-medicating with the things she is putting in her system? Because I went through a stage of self-medicating with snowing because it calmed my brain. It made me feel like I was a normal person in society because I, I wasn't being autistic, and it
It's
made me numb.
it's really common with obviously people misusing certain substances within the trans community, those who are also autistic as well or undiagnosed. There's actually, I think it's like 60% of the LGBT community are autistic or ADHD or both. So there's a massive correlation. But also people don't realise as well, majority of trans people are actually autistic. I think it's like 1 in every 3 trans people that I know, most of them are either ADHD or autistic. And I say, fucking hell, I said, we've already come out as trans. And I always say this about myself, I'm neurospicy as well as transgender. Do I want anything else? Because it's really, really difficult. Trying to manage autism and trying to manage gender dysphoria, it's bloody horrible. And then ADHD as well, when your brain wants to stop, but then you feel like shit because you're gender dysphoria, but your brain wants to go 100 miles an hour, and then your autism's kicking off. It's like a triangle, and everything boots off.
Yeah.
I generally think that I've generally seen autistic traits within her. I think she's got a lot of things that she does need sorting out, but ultimately, until somebody can give her some bloody help and the system isn't fucking failing her, then she's just going to be another statistic, another number, NHS number 7570, and she's not going to get that help. But ultimately, what can you do? Because she's not helping herself. The police aren't going to 136 her like they've had plenty of opportunities to. Mental health services are overrun. So what the fuck do we do with her? And what the fuck does she do with herself? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's literally kind of in the lion's den. She's just left there
There's
until
a lot of
either the
trans people that are like
lion
it,
gets
though.
her or
A
she
lot of
manages
trans
to get out of the
people.
cage.
But it's like there's so many trans people at the moment that I see struggling, not even just people like Alpha Bar, like people that I've seen that have been absolutely fucking trolled to live in shit online. Like, I don't know if Amelia's still in here, but I've become really close friends with her. And at the end of the day, Amelia gets a lot of shit online, but she does a lot of makeup content. And when I say to you, she does her makeup better than some bloody women out there, I'm sat there going, why the fuck are you getting so much shit? Because I feel like there's such a precedent for trans women to look like the fucking Barbie dolls and like the typical dolls. And I'm sorry, but women come in all shapes and fucking sizes, biological or fucking not. Same with men. Like, so why are we now judging somebody and saying, oh, you have to look a type of fucking way? Because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I don't want to be a duck that quacks like a duck and walks like a fucking duck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's fucking boring. We need a little bit of something juju different, but maybe not the Delulu shit. But like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Right, can I hear from some other voices up in the box? Because I do need
I'm
to
gonna
wrap
bump off.
soon. Listen,
Right,
thank
Bob.
you so much, Dimitri.
See you later, darling.
Miss Obsessed, thank you, Dimitri. Big loves. What did you want to add to this conversation? Zoe, are you there?
Can you hear me?
You can now, yeah.
Right. One thing I wanted to say was one thing I keep hearing a lot from people within the trans community and people outside the trans community when it comes to using transphobia towards Alpha Bar is they use her behaviour as an excuse.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because people who are outside the trans community are stereotyping her behaviours. So what people outside the community have got to do is stop with the stereotyping. And that's not just the trans community that affects. They do it with religion, they do it with people who are disabled, they do it with people of colour. And we've got to stop trying to put everybody in these brackets and then using bad behaviour as an excuse to attack those protected characteristics.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. Thank you, Zoe. We got All Right Sunshine up here and we got Stell. All Right Sunshine, did you want to share some thoughts on this conversation around the trans community and trans rights and stuff? Hello, are you there? Stel, hello, Stel. I'm going to invite you to unmute. Hello.
Yeah, hi Remy.
Hello,
Hi
darling.
everybody. I've got two things I want to say. The first one's on Alphabet. It's quite easy. I've actually thought for quite a long time that Alphabet is autistic due to her behaviour, purely from observation, and I think she plays up to the camera, but that doesn't give the others the excuse to put her down the way they do, and that brings me to my second point. Evil Queen is actually a very intelligent person. And if you follow her journey on TikTok, yeah, you will see that she targeted several big creators, got in with them, yeah. She got in with them, right, and she started getting a big following herself, and then she turned on every single one of them and stabbed them in the back. Every single one of them, she's done it to, yeah. And that's her way of getting rid of them and keeping her little group. And I think her behaviour is disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Okay.
Her views are ridiculous. She's just way out there. And me, for one, I think she should have went to prison for what she did. Because
to who or to what? What do you mean?
when she was convicted of benefit fraud, yeah, she
Yeah.
walked into that court. The video is on online. In fact, I think it's actually on one of the videos.
I've seen it. Listen, babe, I just want to rein you in because I
See you
feel like
laugh.
I feel like we're going to go down Evil Queen hate campaign, and I don't want that. I really want to keep it.
It's not
No,
hate.
I know. I would just really respectfully like to just rein it in to keep it about the trans debates that happen. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't want to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 points of why Evil Queen is a dickhead. I think we know why Evil Queen is a dickhead. I just want to keep it on track in terms of the trans debate that's happening and thoughts and feelings on the live that happened yesterday on Evil Queens or even Miss Faye's. And if you could share some opinions on that, that would be great.
That's what I was trying to do. So, and I
Well,
was explaining why I say these things. I think that it's people at Evil Queen that give the trans community a bad reputation. That's who they're focusing on. And they're laughing with her, laughing at taking the Mickey out of people at Alphabet. And then she's turning around and trying to put to the general public that Alphabet is actually, that is a representation of the trans community. When in actual fact, it's not. Neither of them are. But she's thrown Alphabet. I'm not a big fan of Alphabet, by the way, but she's thrown Alphabet to the wolves on several occasions.
Oh, 100%. And I've sat here and called it out 100%. But then I've also been told, because I'm not trans, I have no right to tell a trans person that they can't be transphobic. So do you see the position why it's difficult? That you want to be an ally and you want to call out the fuckery that you can see is happening, and then you get told on a big ass platform to shut your mouth because you're not trans, so you can't tell trans people nothing. This is why I'm kind of mad.
Well, that's wrong. Of course you can call it, because it doesn't matter whether they're trans or whether they're black or whatever.
Correct.
If you see somebody doing something that's not right, then you've got the right to call that out. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are or what you want, what community you think you belong to.
I agree. I just find it frustrating. But no, I hear you, and I agree with pretty much everything you've said, Stel. I've seen a lot of what Evil Queen does is strategy on this app. There is a lot of strategy and maneuvering, and I agree that Alphaba has become her focus. Pretty much every live show she does, there is an attack on Alphaba. And my point from the start of this is that I think that looks incredibly bad when you have, on the one hand, you want to say you're a trans rights activist and you're here to make a change, whilst continuously, repetitively, every night being transphobic. And the message that puts out is awful to not just your trans community, but to everyone watching. And if we want to,
the majority of the audience on TikTok, will just sit there and listen to Evil Queen because it's funny.
Yes, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
And it's them we need to change. You know, it's them we need to bring down to explain to them that what Evil Queen does is wrong. You know, and I've got no qualms about pointing out to her. She's blocked me quite a few times, and then she'll unblock me, and then invite me into the live until I say something that she don't like, and then she blocks me again.
It sounds like Evil Queen.
You know, I mean, she's mental.
Thank you, Pocket Rocket, for coming up. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening and taking stuff on board today. Thank you, darling. Yeah, she does that. She will block people, and then she will do a mass, unblock everyone again and let them back in, and then reblock them again. It's a game for her. Look, TikTok is a game for her, and she doesn't take it seriously. She comes on here to make money, and she makes money by creating drama and being in the drama and being talked about. And so, to be talked about, we do controversial things. We say we are the Rosa Parks of the trans community when you know that is going to deliberately provoke and antagonize the black community that you have disrespected repeatedly for months, but you do it because it gets people talking. And if people are talking about you and your name is in their mouth, it brings in traffic. It's a game, right? I see the game. It's chess. I play chess very well. I see Evil Queen's moves before she's even done it. And this whole fucking I'm standing for trans rights shit, I'm telling you now, and you can mark my motherfucking words, at 2 p.m. on the 13th of January, Remi told you that within the next 6 months, you will hear Evil Queen sit on her platform and tell you she just did this for shits and giggles, and that she doesn't give a fuck about no trans community, and the only person she cares about is herself. She's done this for marketing, for PR, for content. She gives no fucks about the trans community. The only person she cares about is herself. So you mark my words, I'm going to give it 6 months, and you will see her telling you, she just did this for content. She doesn't give a fuck.
I think she's already said that.
No, no, well, she did say the other night, it was about 2 nights ago, I wrote it down. She did say, she said something like, she said, I've got nothing else to focus on. This is serving me well. And then she said, I just need something to get my teeth into. I mean, does that sound like the words of someone who's passionate about trans rights and and like
like a talentless symbol.
wants to make a change, wants to protect the future generations? No, it doesn't. It sounds like someone's spinning some yarn and spinning some content because it gets her attention, which gets her views, which gets her gifts, which gets her paid, and that is ultimately all Evil Queen cares about. Now she might go on.
I'm white, by the way, and I've always looked up to Rosa Parks and what she did, and I know the controversies around it as well. So that's not the point, though. It's what she was trying to do. When I heard that comment, I was in the kitchen making a cup of tea, and the phone was, I was listening to it. When I heard the comment about I'm the Rosa Parks, I was like, you what? I flew in there. I tell you.
It's the audacity of it. But again, she's doing it deliberately to be provocative. She knows it's going to upset the black community. She knows that. Like sitting in a box the other day. I know
It
I'm
upset me,
deflecting.
and I'm white.
This is right. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So like she does it deliberately. Like she sits and thinks about it and like, how can I be controversial? How can I upset people? How can I get the attention? And she does this provocative, annoying shit. And she also knows I will call her out on it. Like, I'm not scared of Evil Queen. I'm not someone who's going to sit here and bite my tongue like a lot of people on this app. I will call her out on it every time because I can see what she's doing, and she knows that I know what she's doing. Like it's a game, and I think it's a very unpleasant game. I've always said I respect the game, I respect the hustle. She knows how to make money. I will always respect that as a business coach. But the strategy in which she uses, which is harmful and hurtful to others, I don't respect.
That's it. That's exactly it.
But anyway, thank you, Stel, for coming up. I appreciate you coming up and having this conversation. Seaside, mate. Mate, Yeah, she does know that. She knows I can read her. This is why she gets pissed at me, Dan. She knows. And she said it herself. She's like, Remi gets me. I do get her. Listen, I see her moves. I know what she's doing and I know why she's doing it. And she's never going to fool me on this app. You know,
This is why.
she's
This is
fooled a
why.
lot of people that she's all about trans rights. She ain't about trans rights. She's about content.
Remy,
Yeah, go
Remy,
on.
this is why she unblocks me, because she knows she can rile me up easy, you know. And she'll unblock me and then invite me into the chat and see you, right? See when I come across you, right? I will show you what trans rights is all about. And she just riles me up something terrible, and I can't help myself.
I know. She knows what she's doing. And you know what she did yesterday really fucking annoyed me because like she does have a big platform, and if she was more serious and wasn't just about money, she could have used her platform for actual good yesterday. But it was a piss take. Her gifts were on. She was playing music. She was kicking people out the box. She was being disrespectful, and she was just having a fucking laugh when it was actually, yeah, it is calculated. It could have been a really important moment for bigger conversations, but she took the piss because she doesn't care. That's the crux of it. She
She
doesn't
actually
actually care.
sent somebody to my live yesterday. She actually sent somebody to my live to tell me that she will be doing a live with Audrey will be in it and Martha's going to be there, you know. And I was like, and what do you want me to do with it? Three of my biggest nemesis, you know,
Mm.
three idiots. And they knew that obviously what they had done is they saw that I had an altercation online with Audrey and Martha, ran to her.
Mm.
She says, "Oh, I'm going to do a live and I'm going to bring them to and get Stell to come in. Go tell Stell they're coming to my live." And I knew what she was playing at, so I didn't bother going. But the audacity, it is the audacity of it. So I thought,
She's
I'm
trying
not
to
going to
bait
come.
you.
Yeah, she was baiting me. And I just
Yeah.
thought, you know what, I'm going to sit with Red and a few of the other ones last night. I can't be bothered with it, you know.
Mm.
I was dying to go in, but I just thought, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I know what it's all about.
Yep. And that's it. You gotta read. You gotta read. You gotta learn to read a bitch. And she knows I can read her, and she knows I will also call her out on her shit. So I'm fully expecting to get dragged tonight on her show, which will be great because it will just send more people my way. So I'm waiting for that. But listen, it's
Remy,
true. Yeah,
can I
go on.
just use your platform for a minute? Yeah, Red, I'm going
Yes.
to. Red, I'm going to go live in a few minutes. Yeah, come to my room. I need to talk to you about what happened last night.
Yes, go to
Yeah.
Stell's room. But
But
listen,
Red
thank
is the
you.
person I was talking about. I went there last night to sit and just kept my mouth shut and you know, and yeah,
And then Red
Red
got
got,
bananas.
yeah, for no reason, for nothing. Absolutely, she was on mute the first time she got banana.
Oh, bless you. But listen, I do think these conversations are important, and again, I'll say I think it is an important message, just perhaps the wrong messenger, and you know, if I can use my platform to continue these conversations, I'm more than happy to do that. But I think healthy conversations about what's going on is important. I just just be careful about who you let in the box, and try not to steer off of topic too much or about personal things and keep it on agenda because transphobia on this app is rife, and we do need to talk about it as we do with racism and everything else. We do need to have these sensible conversations, and today is going to be filled with fuckery because right now we've got Delulu who's live hosting a live about transphobia. She don't give two fucks about it either, so that's also going to be a shit show. So just protect your energy, all of you, and protect your spaces of where you go and sit, and don't let people pull you out of character, man, because
Martha got the knock yesterday because we were in Envy.
mm,
We were in Envy's live, and it got. This is how nasty it got. Um, basically, Audrey was losing the battle, and she called in reinforcements, and I trampled all over Martha as well, to the point where I mean, even the people in the chat were giving us big gifts. I got four galaxies. I couldn't believe it from different people.
mm,
And the friend that was with me, she got 3 galaxies from people. and we were getting all these gifts. And Martha, and she even said it, and I've got it on the recording, yeah, right? She came back, she went, Envy, throw Stell out. Stell's doing this thing again, right? And what's up, what's up? And then she threw me out, and then she went, and they were all given big gifts to Stell. Can you believe it? And then she started saying that all trans are predators. And she was going down a dark road. So I know that somebody was there and went straight to Evil Queen to say, that's what's happened, and this is what Martha thinks. And then come back to me and say, Evil Queen said you have to come. Chelsea said you have to come to her live tonight. She's going to get Audrey and I just thought, no, I'm not going to rise to it. I done what I done yesterday.
Yeah, you don't need to rise to it. You don't need
People
to.
were on my side. You know,
Yeah.
Martha, she showed herself her true colours for what they really are yesterday. You know,
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who any of these people are, so it's not making any sense to me. But I believe you in what you say, so thank you for sharing that. But listen, I need to wrap this room because it's gone on for far longer than I intended, and I need to use the toilet and reset my life. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's come up and been involved in this conversation. I can see that there are about 5 or 6 of you in the box waiting to come up. I do need to wrap the room, guys. Like I normally do an hour and a half, and we've gone for like 3 hours. So I appreciate the conversation. It's been a healthy conversation. I hope people have taken stuff away to help them, and you are all welcome in here at any time. So please make sure you give us a follow, and not the fucking flute to end with, but thank you. But genuinely, thank you all for being really open and supportive and being in this live. And I will see you all again very, very soon. There is a schedule pinned on my profile if you want to know when I'm next live. So make sure you go and put some love on my profile on the schedule. And I will see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.